I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. They're fighting in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, psyched you guys out there, didn't I? It's not Adam. You know, and Adam doesn't even know I was doing this live because it was a last minute live. Joining us tonight is Lewis and Sandra. And so Sandra wanted to ask me some questions, and I had just literally got inside the house and I'm like, hey, Lewis, you want to do a live?
Sure.
Just ask Lewis questions. And that way that's Sandra can ask her questions and you guys can ask some questions. I thought that this would be just a simple way to do it. And yeah, so YOLO as always. And I was at the dollar store today. I totally forgot about that, guys. I was going to do a members only. Didn't do it. Didn't even do a live Friday. Wasn't feeling that great Friday. So I thought, you know what? Not doing it. And yeah, so here we are. And so welcome, Lewis, and welcome, Sandra. And start with Sandra. Sandra, just tell people exactly who you are, how you know me, and what you've done, whatever you want to say.
Okay, can you hear me?
No.
What do I do?
I can hear you.
I'm just messing with you. We can hear you just
She's
fine.
messing
Oh, you
with
can hear me. Okay. Well, my face is just like totally holding still, and your all's is moving. Okay, I see now. Well, we kind of like both was on the same track of watching the original woman that interviewed Garrett Kurt in prison, and all of the others following that with Ashley Garth and all of them. And then we got to talking on Messenger about the case, where she kind of dropped out, and then I think you tried to contact her, didn't you, Sonny? But she never got back with you, and so
Open Secrets?
Sonny picked it up from there. You picked it up from there and started investigating it.
Pretty much. I mean, Open Secrets couldn't keep a promise if her life depended on it, but that doesn't stop me from loving the fact that she literally had interviews of, you know, talking to Garrett, talking to Chris Mathis. Ashley declined, of course, to ever talk to her, but she sits in, I think, jail right now, to be honest with you.
I think that she blew it whenever she told him she thought he was the bridge guy. And then boom, he said, then I don't ever want to talk to you again.
Right. I do remember that. But anyway, so go back to telling people who you are.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead. Whatever you want to say.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking about all the way back to the whole time, back that Ron Logan's property there, that Garrett, his dad went over there and drank with Ron all the time, and all those other ones that grew up, the group that got on meth, that I'm pretty sure that Tony Klein probably knew all of them too. And that who's to say that Tony Klein, his dad, wasn't over there drinking all day too with Ron and, you know, Garrett, his dad. And they all, those kids back in that day, there were kids, they had the run of that property. They knew it, you know, like the back of their hand. So I think
Oh,
whoever did it, they probably left through Ron Logan's property.
okay. Sorry, Sandra. I was talking about who you are as a person first.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's okay.
my name's Sandy, and I used to be a private investigator, and I had gone to college for it, of course. And I, the teacher said one night, he said, I brought one of my investigators with me tonight. I think we had about 35 in the class. And he said, we're going to take a break. When we come back, he said, I want you all to tell me who you think it is. Well, we walk out in the hallway, and this guy was walking along beside me, and I go, you're the PI, aren't you? He goes, how did you know? And so Ken Owens, he hired me right out of the class.
Oh, nice.
And so that's how I become a PI.
Mhm.
And I worked for him for 6 years, and then he became an attorney, and I went into, back into my music business.
Yeah.
So that's how I became, and I've always been real interested in, I wanted to be like into forensics. I always
Right.
liked that, and I also was on the waiting list to be a police officer years ago. But here
Mhm.
in Indianapolis, you had to turn. I was on the waiting list, and if you turned 34 before you got called, then you couldn't be, and that's what happened.
Oh,
And
okay.
I wasn't, but I've always been interested in,
Well, now,
solving
yeah, now they're probably
cases.
begging for the police officers nowadays. Because did you remember when Doug Carter said that there's usually like 70 or something or whatever it is in a class, and now there's like 12, something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, back then, wow, they had so many, but now,
Thanks,
yeah,
Cindy. Uh-huh.
but
Um,
that's who I am.
yeah. Okay. So we'll get back. We'll come back to that. And Lewis, are you there still? Or did
Yeah,
you?
I need 2 minutes here. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. You guys, let me
Need
quickly do
1 minute.
some. I'm just going to quickly do some shout outs for people that are in the house right now, Sandy, and then we'll come back to um, talking about the Delphi and certain things there. So give me a sec. So hey, Miss Dog Lover, thanks for coming. Of course, you like my. I was at the dollar store. I got a few of these. I got little flashing light ones, but I got this one and I got this one in green, antlers on it. Yeah, and I want to thank Callie because Callie was kind enough. Just gonna say, Callie was kind enough to send me 69.69. And if anyone who knows me, she's like, have a good day at the dollar store. So thank you, Callie. Love you. She's on her trip right now, vacationing. But I just wanted to thank Callie for doing that. And anyone that knows me knows that I was born in 69. Um, and 69 is a great year and great things, right? So anyways, jumping jack flash. Hey, Nona. Yeah, if you guys can hit the thumbs up, that would be great. We'll get back to the questions. Hey, Never Silent, which is peace. Vertigo Brain, Moon Shadows in the house. Who else we got? Is it Crime and Shame? I guess I should make sure that Streamlabs enters the house. Streamlabs needs to say hello. Um, I know that Marv and Frank are on a live, but I wasn't. I figured that they would probably end it by now. So if they're still live, then I apologize. Um, and Brent, I'm Houlihan. I'm in bed early tonight because I was thinking of you because Monday is going to be a big day. Yeah, let's see, eh? Monday hopefully should be the, affidavit for sure. Hi, Sunny. Hi, Adam. Well, Adam is Sandra. And Lewis. Hey, Joe Moser. And just Kendra. Hey, just Kendra. Oh, I'm playing World of Warcraft and catching this live. Yeah, I never got into World of Warcraft. I played RuneScape. I never got into the whole world. There was already RuneScape already took up my entire life. I shouldn't say that, but when I got home from work and stuff. So I played that for like 20 years off and on. My husband actually started playing it again but the RuneScape 3, which is more like the World of Warcraft. I prefer the corn. Why? You like it when I'm corny? Yeah. Let's see. Kyle Davis is in the house. Hey, Kyle. Sharon Parker. KMH Television's in the house. Who else? Who else we got? Is that it? Mike Hessery, Indy Pam, PJ Barker, Crystal Lister. Hello. Candy Lady, True Crime Housewife. Freckle Joy's in the house. And he's graduated 17 recruit. Choosy, yeah, exactly. 19, yes, down. Yeah, I was gonna say darn. I was gonna say down straight, but Streamlabs is in the house. Don't forget to always be kind and courteous to people. Everyone can have an opinion. Just don't attack the channel or us on the panel, or else you guys know where the door is because I'll make sure you exit it.
I'm back.
Yeah, okay, thank. Too much mom. Hi everyone. Is that what we are thinking that Monday? Yeah, Monday is probably the day that it should come out, but we can't say that 100%. Hi Heather, Forever Young, Tammy, Heaven 57. Oh, there's my lovely lady. Hey, support with stuff. I hope your daughter's feeling better. Hope you're feeling better. I don't have enough time in the day, to be honest. I see support with Steph and I'm like, oh shoot, probably should have messaged her, see how she was getting along. But yeah, hey Steph, I hope you're feeling better. Love you. Okay. So let's go back up before you guys put in some more questions. Let's quickly, Sandra, I just want to get started on some of these. So like I said, it's kind of like a just ask Lewis night. And soon enough, to be honest, actually, I won't say it today. Should I say it? No, probably not, right?
No, might as well.
Might as well?
Yeah, might as well. Why not?
Yeah, okay, you go ahead then.
It's your show.
That's right. Okay. Pipe down, Lewis. No, just kidding. Yeah. So me and Lewis we're gonna create a channel because I've always wanted to do one that was called like Dear Sunny, because I like outside of the case. I like to talk with people. I have been a fixer by life. Certain things are my strong point, which is relationships in a sense. And you wouldn't know certain things unless you've been through them yourself. But anyways, so I said to Lewis last night, hey, Lewis, should we do like just us a Sunny and Lewis channel? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, okay. So we're going to go ahead.
No, I said, sounds fun. Might as well do it. And
yeah,
we both enjoy that. So
yeah, so we'll just do it like once or twice a week. We'll get you guys to send us in some questions at first, but we won't go live until there's like 1,000 subscribers for that channel. But we'll get it started anyway, and then we'll, send you the channel once it's up, and whoever wants to come over and just talk more personal stuff or just ask a question. I don't care if it's some female that doesn't know how to fix their toilet or anything like that, perhaps, and says,
think of it like a casual round table discussion where anyone can ask anything about anything and no regrets. And if we can answer, we will. And if we'll look into it, we can do that too.
Yeah. And then we'll have on some guests. Like I'm sure, if people have, I'm sure Alexa would come on, or just any guests that want to, that have maybe someone's like so support with Steffa. She's in the, like the healthcare system there. So, maybe she wants to come on and answer some questions for people and stuff like that. Just stuff like that. Anyways,
I'd say between the two of us, we probably know hundreds of people that don't even get mentioned on here that are specialists in different fields. And we always have reference points for things. So might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah. I'm good when it comes to like relationship stuff and advice. Just because I've always been a very empathic person, and it's like when you just kind of foresee things in a sense, and like most of my friends in my life always will come to me all the time saying that I was the most level-headed person, and always, let me put it this way, I know I am. Like, I know I can listen to someone and I can already see and say what probably what they should do. Now, whether they do it is a whole different story. Blah, blah, blah. I don't sit there and say that I'm, got some psychology major and stuff like that. Well, I didn't say that. If I had to redo my life, I'd probably, either be in forensics or psychology, psychiatric or something. But anyways, and besides that, I create videos and stuff like that. So if anyone has any questions when it comes to videos or what to do or how to do something, I can answer some of those. We're just going to YOLO as always, right? I mean, between us, yeah. So anyways, so we'll let you know when that happens. Okay, guys. Okay. So let's quickly start off here with Lewis. First question from Miss Dog Lover is,
sure.
What have the prosecution got to hide? Why keep the PCA sealed? What's your thoughts?
It's funny that she mentions that, because yesterday, or actually the day before yesterday, it started in my head. I came up with an idea. I can't guarantee this makes sense to everybody else, but it clicked for me, because from the start, I said the same thing. Why keep this thing sealed? And then now we've got the defense lawyers saying that there's nothing in there that's strong evidence. You've got Doug Carter saying that it stands on its own and it doesn't affect the case at all. So then I went back to my original question was, why are they charging felony murder instead of murder? Murder is an easier charge in Indiana than felony murder is, unless you didn't commit the murder or we can't prove you committed the murder. So let's say they've got some really weak evidence, but it 100% connects him to the other crime that they've not mentioned yet, which could be kidnapping or coercion or some other offense that led to murder, which is how they get that felony murder charge. It's another crime that led to them being murdered, not that he actually committed the murder. So we take that other charge, and even if it's like strong arm or kidnapping, if they could prove that he's the one in the video and he's the one on the bridge, and the evidence that's in that sealed document is his testimony saying, yes, I was there that day, I didn't see anybody. So now they can place him there at his own word. And you've got the other witness who did the partial drawing for the first released sketch, the older looking sketch. They always said two people worked on that sketch, the younger person and an older male. Well, what if he's the older male and the other one is the one that's mentioned in there as a witness saying, yeah, I originally said that the one they released didn't look like what I had them draw. So now maybe Richard contributed to being on the bridge when he was interviewed in the beginning. And it's been said that he then was called in to talk to the police a few days before the sketch was released. So let's say he was called back in because they knew that he was there. And he gave some testimony saying, yeah, I saw this guy. This is what he looked like. And he's partially responsible for the released sketch. So maybe this is all now evidence linking him to what they can prove, not murder, but whatever the other charge is. And they don't want to release the document because then people are going to say, why are they charging him with this crime and not murder itself? He didn't. Now that you're saying he didn't murder the girls because we can't prove it. And from what they released in the beginning and made it seem like social media was the devil and there was a bloodlust, maybe that's their same fear, that if media gets a hold of this document saying we can't prove murder, but we can prove kidnapping or whatever else, they're afraid social media is going to just blow up on this guy. So that could be a reason for sealing it that I've not heard anyone mention. And it would sort of make sense for them saying we need to protect the integrity of the case, because they've already made it known that the integrity of the case is only threatened by bloodlust through social media. So that was my thought 2 days ago that's been bouncing around my head for 2 days.
I was going to say, now Jumpin' Jack Flash says, where in all the Delphi dirty dealings, the triple D, if you will, does RA fit into the murders of the girls? What's your thoughts on that?
Where he fits into the murder of the girls?
Yeah.
I don't think they can prove that, or they even know if he was. I think at this point, they're just connecting dots and saying he was there and he was connected. I don't think they can prove he committed murder, or they might not even know he was responsible for that part. They're just connecting it. And my thought is that what we don't know that's on that video, the rest of those recordings from when they did Bridge Guy and then they cut that off and then you hear the, down the hill, there's probably something in there that they've now linked to him and that's their evidence. I'm thinking now that they don't have anything from that point on connecting him to the crime scene. I think it's all now going to be based on the video and witness testimony, and that's what's in that document.
Okay, and so he said, jumping that flash again, and then after that he says, what are the rumors on the evidence that may be found linking RA directly to that? Is that what you just kind of said, I think?
Well, here's my thought. Let's say they found evidence, all right? My thought has always been that the rumor of in between guys and down the hill is a gun being cocked. My thought's always been if they cocked a loaded gun with one in the chamber, that would eject a live round and it would have fallen. And in all the commotion going on, nobody would have ever thought to go back for a bullet that came out of the gun. If the evidence they found matches up ammo to the same serial number on the ammo they found there, now they've got the connection to place him at the bridge, place him at the end, and connect him to the charge of maybe kidnapping or something else. And that's what they're putting all their eggs in the basket on. That's my gut feeling the last couple of days. That's what I think.
Okay. Jumping Jack Lash, you said stuff. Okay, Sandra, let's go to you. Do you have another question for Lewis?
Yeah, I was thinking I heard today or something, one of them say something on one of the sites that they thought that they did have enough evidence and proof. And I heard that on one of I don't know if it was the news or if it was on one of the podcasts, that they felt that they had enough evidence on him.
Yeah, and if they're not trying to charge him with murder because they are charging him with felony murder, they might have 100% what they think is a tightly sealed case against him evidence-wise for the other charge. They've just not said what that other charge is yet. So I'm going to assume, and let's just say it's kidnapping. And they can prove that that's him in the audio saying down the hill, he has a weapon. Now we know that's considered kidnapping. We can charge him on that. Because of that crime, they wound up dying. We don't know who killed them, but he was responsible for the kidnapping. So in the state of Indiana, that becomes a felony murder charge. And in every other circumstance, that would be a hard thing to prove, unless they can't prove anything with murder, and this is their Hail Mary, and they can prove that 100%.
See, I didn't know that it was felony murder. I thought they had charged him with murder.
Yeah, no, and I always thought it was weird in the beginning. It didn't make sense at first to me, but now that's the only thing I could think that makes any sense why they would pick that specific charge and seal the document at the same time. They don't want people to know that they can't prove murder, and they're charging with something that sounds like murder, and they're not describing that, and they're not putting the other charge out there because they want the media to just say felony murder because most people don't understand the difference. And if you can keep the document sealed, then you'll keep 80% of the population looking at that statement saying, oh, they got him for murder, he's the killer. Where in reality, that charge says he's not. That charge just says he was involved in the crime that led to it.
So you do think he's involved, though, right?
In
one way, or
that was my
whether he's involved or not, I won't guess on that until they release some evidence. But they think he is, and they think he's 100% responsible for the unmentioned crime.
Okay.
You know, if there's one, you know, I'm gonna have to probably eat some pie pretty quick here.
We're not at that stage yet.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to have to eat some pie, because if there's one thing that I can't take away from any photos that I've looked at is now that Richard Allen has been arrested, and then I have an actual face to compare that BG photo to. If there's one thing that's unmistakable, it's his nose. That was the hardest thing that you could actually see out of anything. You know, the markings, there's so many that are so similar. The face structure is so similar. If anyone knows my POI versus the younger Richard Allen, it's very eerie to me. Just the whole face structure, dimple chin and stuff like that. But anyways, probably gonna have to eat some pie, you know, and that's fine. I'll eat the pie. It's my bad, you know, teach me my lessons. But you know, if anyone knew the work I did, it's like, you'd understand
I do.
how similar. But you know what? But now that they've arrested someone that we had no clue, but if there's one thing, as much as you know, inside you want to be right with all your work and stuff like that, you know, because there's just so many. But there's one thing that's unmistakable about Richard Allen is his droopy nose. And in the one picture of the BG, because I stare at those pictures all the time, it's unmistakable to me that he is the BG.
I think Carol had a question. I couldn't make it out on my phone. It keeps scrolling too quick.
It says, Lewis, do you think defense should seek a stop on further work on the bridge till jurors get to view a bit of its condition if it was in when the girls crossed? Is fixing it taken to destroying evidence?
I think it's too late because of what they've already done, and I think they've ruined the bridge restoration by doing it the way they did too. I think it should have been restored the way it was, and they just put up railings and put down all new railroad ties. But since they chose to go a different route, it's not going to look like the restored Monon Bridge that it used to be. So I also
didn't think so either.
Yeah, I also don't think they're going to walk people across that. It would be a good idea to do that with the jury to get an idea of the surroundings. But I have a feeling that this case is not going to come down to them needing to do it that way.
Lewis, do you think TK is involved?
I do not.
I agree.
Is he maybe involved in some side minuscule way? It's not connected, but you know, it's possible. But I personally don't think he had anything to do with the girls being killed.
Candy Lady says, Lewis, do you think Carl had any involvement in the crime? Do you think he knew if he didn't actually participate?
I don't think he was involved in the crime. I know people have strong opinions on one way or the other. I
feel like he knew something.
I was going to say, if I get into some of my off the wall theories, then yeah, I think he might have known, because I still can't get past the original statements about the crime scene. And in my head, I see something ritualistic, and this is old world territory with old families, with who knows what they're used to doing, who knows what secret practices go on in that town. So under speculation, it's possible that if the early rumors are true, then yeah, maybe he was involved because he knew people that were involved, but it was an after the fact type thing. Or maybe it was a, hey, Ron, are you home? Yeah, you plan on going out later? Maybe you should take a drive. Okay. But that's just an off the wall theory. I don't think that's part of their case.
Support with Steffa says, oh, and first of all, before I say that, Miss Dog Lover just sponsored. You've been a member for 3 months.
Wow.
Detective Maine says, only the truth matters, Sonny. That's correct. Only the truth matters. Regardless. And I'll freaking eat cherry pie all day long if the truth comes out of it all. That's it.
You know, with what Miss Dog Lover said there, here's my thoughts on it. Everybody's theories, off the wall or not, the fact that you've put stuff out and not given up on pushing it out, and all the other people have done the same thing, what it's done is it's kept the case in the news. It's kept people talking about it. It's kept people interested in it. I mean, how many other unsolved crimes out there have people that take vacations and trips so that they can take a side exit to stop there and look, or go on their phone and videotape them walking the trails and then posting it online and talking about it? So the amount of people that are involved in this case are because all the other people online talking about their theories. If they're wrong, they still help solve the case if it gets solved, because 6 years is a long time. And in 6 years, no one stopped going out there. No one stopped talking about it. And the people that come up with off-the-wall ideas that may be right or wrong make other people talk about it, whether it's against it or for it. It still puts it out there. So that's my thoughts on that. Nobody should ever feel bad about having a theory that's not right.
Well, no one should ever. Well, I was going to say, you know, I mean, obviously everyone knows I've been very firm in my POI.
Yeah.
And Richard Allen comes along. Blew the heck out of the water with everybody. Does. But I'll just say this again. Life lessons. Life lessons, people. Life lessons. There was about 90 people on that darn list. And when I think about it, when I truly think about it, that the impact that we're bestowing on people's lives that are innocent, like, I mean, I can't help it. Besides my POI, I'm thinking even more so of Pat Brown, who, like, I only came to the case like 2 years ago, basically. But I think of people like Pat Brown and Ron Logan, but Pat Brown, for some reason especially, that this guy was just like, he lives in the town. And then you got Richard Allen, who's under arrest, you know. Like I said, somebody that, whatever. Anyways, let me put it this way. I'm only in control of my own actions and thoughts. Life lesson on this one, for sure. As no matter how much similar they looked, and when somebody, like, as much as I, like I said, want to keep thinking about the whole Garrett Kurtz line, like, I would like to know, as all this comes out, why all the fabrication? If that, like, it just seems so strange to me, you know. So I'll be curious how this all will play out, because it just seems so strange to me that Chris Mathis, Garrett Kurtz, you know, Nick, and that they're all saying that, you know, Palladino's this, that, you know, and there could be some truth in there still. But I'm just going to, like I said, ride out the story, see how it goes, and hopefully the truth comes out with it in that crime scene. Like, it's something like that's so satanic, childish,
Yeah.
sick and twisted movie. You know, cameras, it's just so twisted that I cannot think that Mr. RA in jail there thought to do all of this. Doesn't make sense. 45-year-old guy thinking of all this by himself, and here, let me go put a plush bunny here and a little cat over here and some masks over here, and, you know, have some, just some fixtures, and it just, there's something more behind this all, and I would love to know what it is. Just saying. Okay, let's see what else. What other? Okay, question. We already seen. Wait, is the conservation from Carol?
Yeah.
Wait, did we ask Steph's already? No. Did I ask? I had hers up here. Oh, did we answer that? Did you work in the prosecutor's office or a defense office back in the day?
Long time ago.
What?
A long time ago.
Yeah. Okay, he's like 99 people. Okay, long time ago. He did.
20 years ago was a long time ago.
Yeah. So, you know, but same as Sandra, like, she was a PI.
From bagged phones to mini computers in her pocket in the last 20 years. Think of the advancements we've made just in phone technology.
Seeing there's no shame in any of us being wrong. It doesn't. Nah, it's my own guilt of stuff. You know, just learning stuff like that. So let me go back down to Carol's question there. Is a conservation officer that RA claimed to have reported that that was there too, a state employee, or could it have been trail official like a McCain in his own identity? No, they're official.
From to clear up his question, from what I was told, he had an informal conversation with a state conservation officer. They're actually police. They're the same as law enforcement, except they actually have more training. They do different things. Yes. But from what I was told, he casually knew this person. He went, told them, I was out there that day. I didn't see anything. It was just a casual confrontation or encounter. And then I was told that later on down the road, before the sketches were released, he was actually formally interviewed by police. And that formal interview was the one that the file and stuff are on, but there's notes of his original encounter too.
Because there was 2 conservation officers searching that day.
Yeah.
Dan and Jared, I think his name was. Yeah. Dan and Jared were the conservation officers, and they're I think the lady on the phone at the actual Indianapolis thing, like they're officials, like they're basically, aren't they like almost like a police officer, but not? They're like meaning that this is their role.
They're full law enforcement. They're
full law enforcement. Yeah.
They're higher than a regular patrolman. They're comparable to like a state police officer.
Yeah.
They have jurisdiction throughout the state like state police do, and they go through the same type of academy training, but they have to have other stuff on top of that, because they have to be able to handle different things with hunting and fishing and the different licenses and what's allowed. But you got to figure too, most of their contact is going to come into place with hunters, so their lives are probably more danger than most officers are. You know, you're out in the area where there's hunting and poaching. These people are illegally doing something. They have to approach them, and they've got a gun. So that puts them at a higher risk factor than I think a regular officer is.
And Marcos Marin, he's on the snitch list. So originally I thought the snitch list was just something that people gave, and they passed it around, adding the names that people they believe were snitches. But no, it's actually official snitch list. And Derek's name is on it, along with Gabriel Ellis and a lot of people. I still have that snitch list.
I was surprised that the list differentiated between paid and unpaid, and I was really shocked at which ones were not paid that were on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Tier said there was 3 types.
Yeah.
But yeah, paid, unpaid. She worded it a lot better than I'm doing right now, but it was like paid, unpaid, and then someone who just
is not on that list, right?
Pardon?
That list had 2 types: the paid and unpaid. It didn't have the third ones, which are
it had 3. There, paid and unpaid. She said there was 3 kinds of people. There's
the third kind are non-official,
right?
Those are the ones that the people on the street work with, the officers, but they don't go to the department. They're not on an official list like that.
Right. And so let's see, hold on. Case Mal says the older 2017 photos of RA appear clean shaven. Did he grow a goatee since the second sketch release? You know what? I have not overly looked at I never really looked at his wife's Facebook page at all, really.
Yeah.
In fact, for 5 minutes one day.
It's not on there.
When it was like when she had all her photos up and stuff like that, like it was only because like Adam and Deb and whoever were sending pictures and videos and different things. So I actually never went over. I went over for like one time for 5 minutes.
It looked like he wore a goatee before 2016 on and off. And there's some clean shaven pictures of him around the holiday time. So I don't know if maybe he just shaved for the holidays or if he normally wore a goatee, but there were not enough grouped together pictures timeline wise for me to determine how he normally wore it. But before 2017, he was seeing pictures both ways, but he didn't wear the type of beard that he wears now back then. He just wore the normal, like 2-day unshaved goatee with the cheek shaved every day type thing.
Marcos, why you keep repeating yourself? And who's honey? Am I honey? Am I your honey? So only because I keep seeing it. So correct. He was in jail for meth and he became an informant. And Judge Fouts basically handed him a silver spoon, and he barely did no time whatsoever. And so that's pretty twisted in itself right there.
And Kyle out there, you are correct, Kyle. That's when you get further south in Indiana from, northwest Indiana, you get south of there, they patrol the roads just like normal state police do. So when everyone says, they're not the same as police, I think they're more trained when it comes to what they do in the area they're in. But yeah, they do normal, like, patrolling. They do enforcement of speed. They do things like that on the back roads. Indiana's got so many different forms of law enforcement that are all allowed to do that. So it's a nice feeling to know that they're fully trained.
Just quickly, guys, when I drop the bio link has the merch site. It has you can follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Anyways, check out the bio link. The bio link has the different links in there. Okay, so other than that, if you guys can hit the like, remember to be respectful towards everyone that's in here. Attack the channel though, and you'll find your exit door rather prompt. But if you just keep it nice and keep it just, which it's been going that way. Yeah, very nice people in here just asking some questions. So just keep it that way. It's always nice to see, right? Because everyone has their thoughts and opinions on this. And, one day hopefully the story will unfold, will play out the way hopefully it should be. Now there's something that I consistently hear lately. Get the case out of Carroll County, get it away from Nick. What are your thoughts on that?
Not to disparage him or his training and qualifications at all. I think it has to leave Carroll County no matter what, just because you need to have more of an unbiased group of people in the courtroom. And if they do a jury, they need to have a jury pool that's going to be close to where it's held. Especially if this judge is going to stay on for the whole case, it might be best to move to where she's comfortable, because being in your own home turf is a little bit easier. When you're going to a building that's different and you've got everybody around you that's not the norm, that could throw her off too. So just putting aside experience, I just think for what it is and how high profile the case is, they should have a special prosecutor added, not to remove him, but just have a different set of eyes there, somebody with some murder trial experience, and move it to a different area so that no one feels under pressure.
Sandra.
I also think they need a bigger courtroom, so Carroll County wouldn't work for this anyway.
Trust me, Marcos, revenge on the father was always at the forethought of everything. But I'm not gonna lie, so I mean, although I could sit there and lay out the map that was laid out pretty much for us, right? Open secrets, all that stuff. This Richard Allen thing is throwing a loop into pretty much everybody. Hey, Lewis.
Yeah, I was trying to read some of the questions here. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were froze or not. Let me see.
No. I was trying to. I don't have my tablet with me, so I'm using a small older phone to look at the questions in chat, and sometimes it's not easy to read the white on the black background.
Well, so. Sally Hiller says, Lewis, I could listen to you all day, every day.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I worked at the Carroll County Jail back in the early 2000s. I know the prosecutor, defense attorney, the sheriff personally. It disgusts me that there are so many armchair detectives. I'd
like to address that, because I think
let's address that, JC.
Yeah, I think it comes, and not to be negative towards him, I just think that he comes from one different viewpoint. And like I said earlier, if it wasn't for all these armchair detectives, this case would not be online spoken about every day, unlike a lot of the other unsolved cases out there that just don't get the media attention.
Not only that, but it's the outside media that has literally helped, that they asked for the help for the UBO, who's ever contacted UBO, who's ever done this, who's ever done that, and so go on, Lewis, preach it, Lewis.
In the last few days, I've changed my mind as to why I think they're sealing it. I still don't think it should be sealed, but the reasoning I came up with, I think, makes more sense. than most people think. I don't think it's to protect witnesses or evidence that's in there. I think it's to protect the fact that the case is not based on murder charges, that it's based on the other crime that resulted in murder. And they're afraid that social media might take that the wrong way, and it's going to be broadcast out there that they've got no evidence that he committed murder. Why does the charge say murder? Most people aren't aware of the difference in the charges. So I think that just for a lack of confusion, having it sealed makes more sense. I still don't think it should be sealed, but I understand maybe that's the reasoning why they want to do it.
Yeah. JC Snap, I wanted just to say my own little final input to that. I think at the end of the day, what you're saying there or what you said above is a very closed-minded type of statement to me. There's room out there for decent people trying to help out families, playing armchair detectives to try to help find the truth. You know, at the end of the day, it's the Ellie and police that are going to, be doing their arresting and stuff like that. And sure, there's always not the best of some channels out there and stuff like that. But I think that there's room enough in this field for everyone. And trust me when I say that your Ellie and your guys' Ellie over there, just like they do around the world, they need social media. They need people like us.
I don't normally, I don't like to talk about what I've done and what I know, but maybe it fits here, so I'm going to say a little bit. When I was in law school, I was part of an internship which worked with the district attorney's office. So I spent a lot of time in the DA's office working on mock trials.
Who's got a TV going on in the background?
I hear it.
Sandy, you do. Sandy.
Nothing about any of this makes
Sandy.
Can you mute her for a second to see?
Yeah, later.
Yeah, it's her end. Okay. So anyway, what I did was multitask and hope. But the reason I bring it up is my reason for not taking the bar and becoming a lawyer was because of the internship I did for several years in the district attorney's office. Because nothing, and this comes from a different state in a city that's very large, but nothing mattered to the district attorney and the ADA and all that in each borough unless it was good for press. If you had a first-time offender with an easy case and you could get an easy win and you didn't cut him a break, you took that because you needed points, because you needed to keep your conviction rate high. If you had somebody that was valuable on the street that could turn other people in, but was a horrible person that you didn't want on the street, they would still cut deals with them, put them right back out on the street, and make the deal so they can get 3 or 4 of these other people under them for the conviction rate. Now, I'm not saying that every state and every city does it that way, but my 4-year experience was the most dishonest thing I've ever had to experience, and that turned me completely against it. So when I look at these things, I analyze it from the aspect, are they trying to get good press? Are they trying to get good numbers? Are they holding off on filing on a case because they don't think they'll get a conviction rate and they don't want bad press? And for 4 years, that was beat into my head, and I still did what I did, but I analyze that end when I look at things too. And I don't think that's the case here, but I don't think that everything on their end is up and up. It doesn't look clean to me.
It definitely does not look clean.
No. When I see things, and people, I'm passionate about unsealing documents that should be open, because most people don't realize what's in them. This is not the gory details. This is not stuff the family doesn't want out. The only thing that's in this document, according to the state police, is the reason for the arrest, and it doesn't affect the case in court. So when Doug says that, and everybody swears by his validity and how he's connected to this case with everything he wants is justice, they can't ignore what he says. Because if everyone believes in what he says and they ignore that one statement from him, then they're being disingenuous.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So,
I was going to say, because got to keep popping the questions here, or else I'm going to fall really behind. Sure. Do you think this murder is drug related?
I go back and forth. I don't know. I want to say it's a 50-50. Well, no. Let's say it's a 30% drug related, 30% CSAM type thing, 30% we just have sick people out there that had the opportunity because of another, circumstance that led them to this. But I do believe that this was planned and this was premeditated, and it wasn't by chance that day.
Mm-hmm.
It could be connected to all three of those things. This could have been a drug-related crime that is being opportunistically done because the party that would do it was going to be able to get something else that was related to CSAM. So maybe it goes hand in hand, maybe it doesn't. We don't know the evidence because we don't know what's in this charging document or the PCA. And that's why I think that should be released, because that being released is going to tell us what this extenuating charge is. And once we know what the extenuating charge is that connects him to the murder, we'll have a better idea why he's connected to the whole thing from the start to finish.
Okay. Lewis, would a redacted PC affidavit just black out names of people or states as well? Possible if you're disclosing identity. What's your thoughts on that?
I would be all for that. I don't think that witnesses' names should be out there. That's not something that's great. We're a small part of the online community that wants justice. You do get another portion out there that just look for stuff because they feel that they need raw justice, which is different. They don't care what happened. They just want to know who it is, and they'll go after them. And then you get people that are out there that just want all the information to be the first one to say they know it. So they'll take those names and they'll try to interview them the best they can. They'll do whatever they can to get information, and they'll make it public. That's not needed. What's needed is to know why he's being arrested, which is not for murder. It's for a charge that relates to the murder. And I think that would make everybody happier, and you would lose all these people that are out here hypothesizing about 10 million different opportunities of why he did this. And everything that the sheriff and the court is saying they don't want would end if we knew why he was actually arrested. That would cut down on all the nonsense and the speculation.
LM says, how common is it to have a bail hearing date so far out? Could his lawyer have requested a sooner date? Technically, he could have a trial by then.
Well, that's a very odd thing, but it could be strategic on the defense's end too. That whole bail bond type hearing is more for the defense team to learn information on what the prosecution has for evidence, as it is to ever get him released. Because if they thought he should be released, they'd be fighting tooth and nail from ROR right now. That hearing being put out further tells me that they're strategically getting evidence together so they can actually fight the evidence at that hearing and try to get them to dismiss the charges instead of just releasing them. I think it's very strategic what the defense is doing with that. And there's a reason for the time, because they need time to look and see what they need to do. I think that Richard Allen and the lawyer talked, and they feel a lot safer if he's in jail under this 24-hour security for 2 months while they prepare the case, as opposed to getting out and possibly going home, not being able to work, not being able to do anything, leave the house worried every day. I think this is a safer situation on everybody's end.
Who is that person in chat? Do you know who that? Alexa?
Which one?
I think her name's Alexa.
Who's that?
Who's that peanut butter jelly right there?
Have you ever talked to her before?
I vaguely have seen this name around. Oh, Jumpin' Jack Flash is already hitting on her. And Lisa. I don't know where Adam is. I never talked to Adam today. Adam didn't even know I was doing a live. I didn't know I was doing a live. So let me go back again to, oh my God. Oh my God, Sandra. I had to think of your name for a second. So, all of a sudden, different names started dancing in my head. Sandra, another question. Do you have something else through all what Lewis is saying? Is there something else? Sandra, hello? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Just now.
I didn't know if you still had her muted because of the noise.
Do you have
I've been listening. It's kind of catching me up on a lot of things that
Well, that's good.
But is there anything else that you had in your head that you wanted to ask still?
You had some questions, didn't you?
Well, do you think that there's more than one person involved then?
I do.
I do too. Do you think that there was a film made and maybe was sold underground?
Well, I'll go from my heavy conclusions to my off-the-wall theories, and if anything is correct about Keegan Kline searching out the Marathon Station, which is real close to Richard's house, if there's any connection at all between them online and videos being made, they might not have known each other personally beforehand, but that could have been a meeting spot in order to give him whatever was required to be in the video that they might have been offered money to make. It would also explain why they left for Vegas right after it happened, because maybe his friend that was heavily into photography that moved out to Vegas was actually part of his CSAM stuff, and that's the guy that actually had contacts to sell it. And you're not going to transmit that stuff over the internet because he already knows they're looking at him. So that would be something that would physically deliver in person.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but didn't they also, he had two, he pinged there, but also it pinged at his house on another device where his dad was.
Well, no, what happened was he said he was at the grandparents' house, but it actually pinged to the cousin's house, which lives right around the corner from the grandparents. Okay. So that's a possibility, but you never know. I mean, a lot of his devices I don't think were functional. I think they just used Wi-Fi, and that's how he used those other. I think only one was a functioning phone. And that's why they've traced all of the devices by Wi-Fi connections. The IP address comes up because he's connecting to Wi-Fi, because otherwise that device is offline. There is no internet. Yeah.
Did they just arrest someone else?
For the same type of crimes?
For about this case?
No.
Did they just arrest someone else?
No. Okay. Unless something happened today, because today I've sort of been...
I thought I heard something like that.
Well,
but I could be wrong.
Trust me, the internet would be on fire right now if that happened. That's how you'll know. When something's going on with Delphi, the whole internet will be lit up.
You can't say that. We knew nothing about Alan being arrested for 2 or 3 days. And the insiders... Well, the insiders thought that they knew it was Friday because that's when he went in front of the judge, but nobody really knew it was actually Wednesday.
Hold on, nobody really knew that they were there a few weeks earlier.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So they've done a good job at keeping things extremely quiet.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
I have a question for everybody in chat.
Sure.
Does everyone know when he left to go on vacation to Europe, was it before they did the search warrant or after the search? Yes. Yeah. Was he gone before the search or after the search?
I'm not sure myself.
And I think it plays a big part in how they handled things. If he was gone before that search was done, I think a lot of this was put together by the sheriff's department and the prosecutor to do, and the state police were not as involved. It was a rush type thing. So I just have questions about it because I have a theory on why they did what they did.
Carol, I am by far the least language arts person here when it comes to proper spelling. But one thing that certainly stood out was the double L's in McClelland. There's only one. One, just like, keep it Southern style. One. Okay. One.
Sometimes you gotta blame autocorrect.
Well, actually, now that I keep looking at the whole sentence, somebody's doing shortcuts. So, Lewis, do you think the fact that McClelland has never done a murder trial before is problematic? It's a big case to start with. I think a special prosecutor should look at this. I like how she spells should. They're very shortcutting there. B. Yeah, that's like my son in school when the teacher said to me, there's something weird about how your son writes essays. It's like computer, like. That's exactly what it looked like, Carol. Just like how you are doing that there to avoid conflict of interest. So well, conflict of interest. If you're still referring to the fact of McClellan being, if that's meaning about the relationship with the Patties and that, Becky Patty already said that there wasn't, but I think you know that, right? So maybe you're not meaning that. But anyways, do you think it'll be problematic?
Even if there's not a blood or a marriage relationship that was solid, I think one relative removed, there might have been commingling between them, at points more than just casually passing the street. But I don't think that affects it. I think what affects it more so likely is trial experience. Not that he's not earned his right to do what he does because he's got a position that's higher than a lawyer, but there's things that can come up and especially now, you've got a very experienced defense team. You've got the lead defense that has gone through every state of schooling you could possibly do, and he's top in his field. And then you've got the co-counsel who specializes in evidence, and he's going to probably tear the stuff apart that's in that sealed document. And I am hoping that comes out and we can hear it before the February hearing.
I want to go back to Mustafa.
Sure.
I'm going back to me. Sunny, did you do measurements of the distance of Ari's facial features like you did on the other POIs? No, but I will. And I'll put out a video very shortly. Not meaning today, maybe today, possibly tomorrow. Just a quick one. Yeah, it has to be 8 minutes long. I'm going to make it 8 minutes long. Thank you, YouTube. If you want to have ads running, you have to have it. They're going to put ads no matter what, regardless. But, but 8 minutes long is YouTube's thing. Anyways, I will do a video with regards to RAMBG features. I'll do something like that. Maybe I'll work on it tonight. I do have to go out for tomorrow for a while. But I'll make that a separate video. I'm not going to incorporate it in the live first or nothing like that. I'll do a separate video on that. But I'll do that. Like the same thing I did with the other ones. Yeah, we'll do. Okay. All right. Thank you for asking.
I was asking if she could ask questions.
No, Steph is not allowed. She's limited to one question. She's already had one, I think. She knows the rules. And she's like, "Can we ask Lewis any question?" No, you can't. As a matter of fact. Yeah, you can save that for Sunny and Lewis lives. The rest are going to be quiet. Actually, in the middle of the night, bam. And I'm just going to say this again. Is there any other questions that I'm missing? And then we'll talk about that again later. What else we got here? Sunny doesn't know we are on a letter limit, right? 200. Gotcha. I definitely believe another is involved. Others possible. I believe it's more than just one other person.
And you know what? That was hinted at by Tobe Lesenby on 2 or 3 interviews, that it was another or more. And I don't think that was an accidental statement. I think he was putting that out there on purpose.
What did you say there, Sandra?
Hi and bye.
Hi and bye.
Pie.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Ashley Garth note.
What?
It's the name Kai and Pie.
Oh, yeah. Kai and Pie. That's
yes.
What you're saying. What about the Kai and Pie, Sandra?
Is that 2 people maybe?
I've always referenced it like it was 2 people. Like I always did, like Palladino and Keegan, whatever. I always referenced it like it meant 2 people, like Kai effing Pie. was here. I always kind of referenced it that way in my head. Doesn't mean it's right. I just reference. You know, I'll tell you that cryptic note too. That cryptic note. Oh, that cryptic note. You know, like, you know, Captain Howdy put out a video the other day, and it was a really good video. If you haven't seen it, by the way, where like what we say, right? Where there's fuel, there's fire. And he was, you know, talking about the Garrett Kurtz and the different POIs that have kind of come along, and how, you know, everything just seems like all these coincidences still didn't add up to so far what we're seeing happening. You know, whether it was nations, this or that, but and although he kept his video kind of simplified that way as he was talking about it, but it was more than just Garrett Kurtz being arrested and working on Ron Logan's farm. And not only was he working, but he was a friend of the Logans. Plus, like we all know, and like Captain Howdy pointed out in his video, right, is that Garrett Kurtz, that we know of, has committed at least 2 killings.
Yeah.
The murder of Nicole Bowen, and I'm just going to call it the murder of Ray Hanish. And those are only 2 that we know of, okay?
Can I interrupt you for a second? Because
No.
Okay.
Go
How
ahead.
about 2 seconds? 3 seconds?
As long as you don't let me lose my train of thought.
No, I won't, because we'll go back to this, because it has to do with Ray Hanish.
Okay.
Everybody keeps browbeating everyone out here that keeps talking about Delphi, and armchair detectives are horrible because they keep bringing up different possibilities. If somebody was pushing as hard for Ray Hanish, I think they would have convicted him by now for taking Ray's life. That is a travesty. I think that's a person that's been pushed aside, and his family shouldn't be treated that way.
Yeah. And Dottie just sent me a message the other day saying, haven't forgot about you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're such good people, and they tried so hard to get law enforcement to even help with what they found, and they were pushed aside like it didn't matter, and I don't agree with the way that was handled.
People are still making emails with his name after he's dead.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't had time yet to deep dive into that because of everything that's been going on with Delphi. But it's always in the back of my head is the Ray Hanish and the justice for Ray Hanish. And because it is a travesty, you know, a beautiful human being had his life taken, you know, at the hands of Garrett Kurtz and whoever else was involved. But anyway,
I think there were several there.
Well, no, there was. Well, yes, I think so too.
Because I talked to the family, you know, and everything that they told me, that, you know, the bottles all around and the cigarette, you know, ashtrays full of cigarettes. And I think he let Kurt live there with the girl that was murdered. And I think he started bringing all his friends and stuff in there too. And then came home, Ray came home from work and seen his place probably wrecked. And, you know, he felt sorry for him because remember Gert said that she was pregnant and didn't have a place to stay, that they were sleeping in their van.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe he come home and they got into it, and maybe he choked him out, you know, in a fight, kind of like. But I think that it amazes me that there was no coroner, there was nothing, there was no taped off, you know, they completely just took his word that it was a sexual thing, and that was it.
The piece of evidence that was mistreated was the phone that they found.
It was terrible. Yeah, Ashley Garth's phone was there.
Yeah. If that doesn't connect people that should be looked at, it makes no sense how that was left undone.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. That was a shame.
Yeah.
Ray, don't even put that name up there. Don't even talk to me about AASB at all, having found Kai. It's the last person ever in the world I will listen to.
I noticed Andrea had a few different questions.
Well, I never finished what I was talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew you guys were going to get me off track now. I don't even remember now. I was talking about Garrett Kurtz.
Yes.
Oh, we were talking about, okay. We were talking about the cryptic note, though.
Yeah.
So my thing is regardless is this. Ashley Garth wrote that cryptic note when she was, messing around, whatever, with Jason Palladino. But the thing is that what I was saying was like in Captain Howdy's video, he was talking about Garrett Kurtz and, how, like all these connections. But it was more than just like he just kind of gave a brief summary, but it was way more than that. It was not only did Garrett Kurtz, know Ron Logan, committed a couple of murders himself. Plus, there's double murders on Ron Logan's land, all that stuff. But it wasn't even just that. It was the fact that he was actually talking about Delphi. He actually was implicating Jason Palladino. We know that Jason Palladino probably should have been charged in connection with Nicole Bowen's murder. And so, meaning it wasn't just that. And then you have this note. You literally have this note which has JC Palladino, the thing about the camera, but then you have like a circle. And if you go up above the circle, like I said, this is where all these coincidences, how can something there not connect? And if it doesn't, it just doesn't. It just seems so strange that this letter, not even a letter.
I think it puts her in all things. Puts her at Ray's, her phone was there. And then for murdering Nicole. And then with Libby, her being mad at Libby's dad because of him becoming an informant, and she got her child taken away over him.
Yeah, that's probably going to have nothing to do with it.
She was very angry at Libby's dad.
The timeline on that doesn't match up. I've looked into it because it made sense, and then it doesn't match up.
I don't even equate the child thing in there.
Because she wasn't living in the apartment with Garrett Kurtz at that time. She was actually living with the grandmother.
Yeah, she was in with the grandmother.
And her kid was there too. So it was a little different circumstances.
But is there some animosity there between them? I'm sure.
Well, it might be a bigger connection between the dad and Palladino. That's where that might circle together. That puts them together as having an issue.
Yeah. So bottom line with that is, and then you can get back to your questions here, was just that it just seems so. It's not just as simple in a sense, like like I said, Captain Howdy put it in a simple and simplified way because he wasn't about to throw it all in there. But if you really look around it, there's a lot more than just that he worked on the land. It was Chris Mathis talking about Garrett Kurtz talking about Palladino and the Delphi murders. It was, there was more than just, like he killed two people. So that's why, we're going to go back to some questions, but what's your last thought on this?
My thought is that if you're in jail and you're willing to connect yourself to crimes against children because you're more scared of the people that are outside of jail than you are people inside of jail, that's something that you wouldn't bring up if it wasn't true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, Sandra,
that's what he said himself, Garrett. He said, do you know what they do to people in here that kill children?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, say that again.
No, just the Chris guy said that he knew about the Delphi murder, but he wasn't going to talk because he had his wife and kids, and he didn't want something happening to them. So he wasn't talking. So how he knew about it, I don't know. Even if they didn't do anything or involved, they somehow, all of them, everybody I investigated that I looked at their Facebook and they also did this on Richard Weiss Facebook. They all wiped out their Facebooks on 2017.
A lot of them did, correct. A lot
Did,
of them
did
did
you
correct.
did you know that Richard's daughter connects with Ashley's younger sister?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, they're friends on Facebook.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to go back to something because this is true. Right. It's Ashley's phone was there, but it's been said that they don't believe that she was there because why would Ashley be with Nicole Bowen?
Yeah.
You know, like considering that's a rival.
Well,
But the phone was there.
More of a connection to him than Nicole did. I don't think Nicole was there. I think Nicole knew what happened, but I don't think she was physically there or there most of the time. I think that Ashley was there with him most of the time. I think that was it's a thing that's known that people that are in that same drug group do. They find a cash cow. They find somebody that's willing to let them come and stay with them, and they bleed them dry, and then they rob them, and they do whatever they're going to do. And it's sort of a normal thing for couples to do that when they're that deep into the meth game.
Yeah, well, you know,
And Ashley knew Ray. She used to work with him or something.
That parking lot, the buildings were either in the same lot or connected. I forget, but there was a connection between her and him first, and I think that's how Garrett actually got connected with him.
What I said to the family, and I said this to Dottie a couple weeks ago, is look, all I'm getting is bits and pieces of Ray Hannish's case. That's all I'm getting from anyone is just the bits and pieces. You know, I would really like to sit down or talk to Cher and Roxanne, I believe it is. And I want to fully grasp because I cannot really talk about a case too much when I can't even fully grasp what is true, what's really happened, like Dottie was telling me some things, but I can't be one of those people that has bits and pieces. I need to hear kind of like start to finish about how things kind of transpired. Okay, then I can work with that. But all I feel is like here's some pieces, here's
so much complex stuff behind the scenes with that.
But
things that happen afterwards between them connecting the Palladino. It's so complex. You need to look at deeper. And it's just a shame that not too many people online are doing that.
Well, like I said, somebody's made about 10 emails since his death.
Yeah.
On using his name.
Yeah. And then you've got Garth that was best friends with Libby's. Was it Libby's cousin?
Right. Libby's cousin?
There's a whole. They were all connected.
Well, Garrett Kurtz and Michaela Babcock hung out. They were really really good friends, and actually Michaela Babcock actually lived with Ashley Garth in an apartment because I remember seeing the post where Michaela Babcock is answering back about Ashley, and it was almost like I remember that I heard that she never liked Ashley, but there must have been a point when she did. Because she was almost thinking of it like a memory of remember the good times, at Ashley Garth type of thing. And I'm just like, so there's this whole little wicked dimension of everyone knowing everyone that's around there, and it just makes you wonder.
That comment you made also refers to them with the parties they had in the woods, and that unfortunately connects back to the Germans, that Liberty specifically. That's
Well, I'll have to listen to that.
That gets overlooked quite often, but it's a shame.
Mel, can you send me the link for that in my just one second. Mel, can you send me the link for that in Messenger for that particular podcast if you could? Because I cannot make sense of something if I just feel like I just know bits and pieces about it. Of where to process it in my head. Especially anyway, let's get back on track to some questions. Hold on. Choking here on bread. Go ahead. Look for some questions there, Louis.
I'm looking.
Said Andrea had some or something.
Yeah, they were spread apart, but it was way back, so I'm trying to scan back because this phone is so small. It's not. It's just the font's real small.
This one says, Louis, if the lead suspect were out of the country at the moment, would that take play in keeping it sealed?
I don't think that would, and I don't think that has anything to do with it being sealed. But I mean, I guess it could always be a possibility, but I don't think that when they say there's more than one person, involved, there might be people out of the country involved with it on one end, but that's not who they're referring to. They're referring to somebody else involved that would have been there, whether they were local or not, had a reason to be there that day.
And you think it was all set up?
I do, and I do think that the second release sketch, the younger sketch, was somebody that was seen over by the private drive in the woods and is separate from the person on the bridge. So that, in my mind, I know there's at least two. I think there's more that were there. I think there were three, but I can confirm at least two from what law enforcement said over the years. And even they've hinted at being more than two. So whether the more than two refers to people being out of the area or physically there, I don't know. But I know that there had to be at least two physically there that day.
I think they just used Ron Logan, to get him away from there. I don't think he had anything to do with it. He got away from there, and why did they call off the police dog when they did? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at first, but after thinking about it, because of the timing and how late it was, I understand now for safety reasons. Law enforcement would have not been able to use the dogs when they got there, so by canceling them, they would have avoided the full cost of the dogs that day. It probably made more sense because of the time of night and the drop in temperature, and they knew they weren't going to be able to get the dogs either across the bridge or on the other side of the water.
So do you think the girls were there or they were murdered elsewhere?
That's another one that's hard to say. I think they were murdered before they were put where they were found, and I think that the wounds that are hinted about were after the fact that they died. I think at least one of them died beforehand, if not both, and that's why you had a lot of blood without any blood splatter. They did not cut down stuff on trees. They didn't take bark samples. They didn't do any of that, which makes me think that you didn't have arterial spray. And if the wounds are like they say, they had to be post-mortem. And just like if you were dressing a deer, once the deer is dead, then you make the cut to drain them. And I think that's how they treated them at the scene. I think it was a horrible thing. And I think that the planning behind it was to keep the spray.
And Ron Logan, they arrested him, but it was, how many, was it a couple of days before they searched his property?
Yeah, but going back to the Ron Logan thing, the one thing that sticks in my head, whether everything else is true or not, is they put him through hell in jail. And I think a man at his age, at the point he was at in his life, would have confessed to whatever they wanted him to. And he didn't. So that tells me he was still a man of conviction and he didn't break. I don't think that he knew anything to tell them.
No, but what I'm saying, if they killed them, with him being gone, killed them, up further, maybe even by the barn or something, with him being gone, they had time to clean up everything before that property was ever searched.
They had tons of time to do that.
Yeah, I go back to the person that was arrested on Ron Logan's property in 2016, and then a few years before that.
You talking about Mike Cunningham?
Yeah, a known meth dealer, meth cook that for some reason was on Ron Logan's property on a regular basis, and he had to chase him off, and finally started calling the police on him.
I had asked Sunny if she thought maybe they were cooking meth maybe in the barn, and Ron Logan didn't know.
That's my thought. I think that the reason this was going on and the reason this guy was there all the time is because he was using the property. I think he's also the one that was responsible for stealing Ron Logan's guns and some other things about 6 months before the murders.
Yeah.
Someone said CJ Palladino.
I think that too.
On Reddit. Someone said CJ Palladino went on his land and stole some stuff a few months prior.
It's possible, but the person...
I don't know if that's true.
One report said there were two people in the car, but they've only named Michael Cunningham as being arrested. So I don't know if there were two people.
Well, they're all friends. Birds
Yeah,
of
but
a
I
feather
don't know if the two people were together on his property when
Yeah,
Ron called the police on him,
yeah,
or if he just happened to be with the other person when the police chased him later on that day and arrested him.
right.
You know, they never mentioned a second name, but I was told locally that there were two people on the property, not one, and only one shows up in the police report, so it's hard to say.
Okay. I just quickly, Kendra, I don't have the time of day for AASB at all. He used to come into this channel, just by the way, as Jason underscore, and a Canadian guy or whatever.
I'm
And
having trouble hearing a little bit. Can you say that again?
okay, I was just trying to answer Kendra. Kendra, um, we don't really like to talk about that channel on this channel. I don't like to deal with trash channels like that at all, and that's exactly what I consider that channel.
Okay.
Basically, the reason why I ever got upset with AASB originally is because I remember going to watch one of his videos, and he acted like he would come into this channel all the time and listen to the information. And then this one particular day, I go watch one of his videos with the cryptic note, and he started acting like he thought of all of these ideas. Like he acted like the cryptic note that he was his in a sense, I think, but it was more so that it was like someone doing an acting class and going, oh, you know what? I just thought of something. And then
Who
he
is
would
that you're
repeat.
talking about?
I just said it. AASB. As above, so below is the channel. So
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if I watched them.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't and shouldn't, to be honest with you. I mean, people can do whatever they want. We just don't really talk about the trash channels in this channel. There's a couple of them, and we just don't talk about them.
No, I didn't say any other channel, did
No,
I?
I'm talking
Oh,
to, yeah. Do you got a hearing aid? Just to ask you?
I don't have it on.
No, okay.
That's it.
Just to ask you. Yeah, I was
But
just
you
like,
all were louder earlier, but now it's like it.
oh,
It gets different once chat's going.
yeah. But anyways, that was the reason. So I just don't like it when people were like you said, if you wanna use the stuff or say it, but don't act like you're the one that owned it, because you didn't. This channel got the cryptic note because of
Oh,
pork
yeah.
chop, right? Type of thing.
Right.
So at least if you're gonna originally talk about it or whatever, like I said, that was from this channel. This was what this channel found with pork chop. And so, but he was acting like the things that I was saying out of my mouth was coming out of his mouth as if he thought of it. And then he started accusing people of taking his material. And so I just have a thing with that. If you're gonna kind of like do it wrong like that, then fine. Then I don't want to have anything to do with you. If you're going to sit there and try to make it seem like what you're talking about somehow you just came up with, So I just thought it was very fraudulent how he was acting, in a sense. And I just, and then after that, he just turned into a really trash channel. So I don't have the time of day for someone on his brain level, which is about 10 tiers down from mine. So that's all I got to say about that. I just don't. I don't waste my time with those ones. Those ones want to talk trash. They want to try to beat people down. They want to, act whatever. Either way, not here to waste my time talking about them, uh, sharing any thoughts with them at all. But yet they still come into here looking for information, or to listen to the lives and stuff. But whatever, so be it. But that was the reason why. And then he went on his vengeance on me, like most do. If I block them or whatever, they all seem to go to those channels and start complaining that Sunny blocks and stuff like that. Yep, all day long. Anyway, I just I like to stay in the realm of this world, Kendra, not this far 32 people under the bridge realm type of thing. You're not causing issues. I haven't talked about it in a while, but that was the reason why.
Sometimes it's good to re-ask and find out, because you don't stay on top of the people that you don't get along with, but other people might bring things up and then not give the right side. And every now and then you need a refresher as to what the issues are.
Right, exactly. Uh, Again, I'm not here to waste my time on trash channels, and that's exactly what those ones will remain like, and that's why they'll float to the bottom like manure, and the other ones will blossom and flourish. I shouldn't say float to the bottom, sink to the bottom. But anyways, Carol says, go ahead.
I really don't get on the other ones. I might flick over and listen, you know. I won't get on and make comments, or maybe once in a great while I might make a comment, but I stay. What I talk about, and you and I've talked about, you know, earlier, was all to private together, you know, on Messenger, about the things, about everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I said, you remember, I said to you, do you think they could have been making meth up in that barn? I asked you that long time ago.
Yeah.
And
I wondered if that was the one that got torn down, but
I mean, there's so many possibilities here, whether they were doing it in the barn or not in the barn, or
yeah,
on the land.
The only reason I was bringing up was saying that then they arrested Ron. Then I remember, I didn't think, but they didn't search his property as soon as they arrested him. So if they were making meth, they had time to clean all that out of there.
Well, they sure
did search
it. Well, first of all,
you know, I don't think they were making meth in there. If they were doing it, I think they would have been using it to store the chemicals to make meth. Yeah, I think a lot of times when they get arrested, you hear the stuff that's portable. So that's what I think of.
Yeah, because they could even make it out of a van or something, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys, I want to go on to this other question, if you don't mind. Lewis, have you seen any connection between Cunningham and RA?
The only connection that I saw was between that alias that was listed on the arrest documents in the beginning that they now say were a mistake.
Right.
But if that alias is not a mistake, and there's a connection.
Renfro. Right. Yeah. Like Craig Renfro guy.
He connects right back to him. The other connection is the person that lives well, if you look at Ron Logan's property, there's a house to the right of it, and then there's a piece of land to the right of that actually comes all the way down to the creek. That belongs to a gentleman that's also been convicted of high volume meth dealing, and his house is in a different area, but he owns that piece of property. And I've always thought that property actually has an easier place to cross. And I've always wondered if it was a drug connection, if that's where they crossed and not where Ron Logan's lip is, because then you can walk property to property easier. But the sandbar that's there is a lot closer to the sandbar on the other edge. It's where the actual creek narrows quite a bit.
Where it's more shallow to get across to.
Yeah, it's very shallow, and it's almost like you've got two land masses that come out like a peak, and they almost touch.
So there's I know there was it Meeks or one of the other that owned the property, and then you're saying there's another one that owned the property.
Yeah, there's the house next to Ron Logan's, and then there's a piece of property that's wedge shaped that goes from 300 down to the creek, and it belongs to the people that have a house across the street. I forget the last name at this time, but they've got an extensive history.
How was I didn't know there was a party going on? I was wondering, I was like, why is this not kicked in yet? Pence.
So below, pure evil.
Like a lot of other people out there, eh? Yeah. I guess that's a suiting name for him then.
Well, listen, I'm going to go. Thank you, Sonny, for having me on and meeting you.
I know it's a lot later there.
I was talking with you earlier, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is new. It's the first time I've ever done this, you know.
I know,
At first, I started talking right away about it'd been so long for me to catch up to where you all are now, you know.
You come off like you're a pro, so don't worry about it.
Oh, well, thank you. But I really enjoyed meeting you, and I hope we can talk again. And
no, absolutely not. Not again. That was a one-time only deal.
Appreciate you, Sonny. Love you and love your little antlers there. I'm surprised you didn't have a little red round ball, the little nose on too.
Oh, I didn't even look for the nose.
Yeah, you have to get one that lights up. But I'm gonna go, and thank you so much. And it was very nice meeting you. And hopefully I can talk to you again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll book you in sometime, eh? A pencil.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandra. Love you.
Okay, love you too.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. There we go. Okay. How was I in there? See, when's that one? Splishing and spine. Pretty soon, you guys. Soon it will be. Oh, the Christmas lights! Yay, Christmas lights outside. Yeah. Okay. Squirrel. What else? What about JP? The guy who said he was on the bridge with the camera. Is he connected? But Julian Powell.
No, I still can't figure that out, and he could be a second person involved. I mean, or he could be the reason why they don't release a lot of information, because he wants to put himself there and now. It's
Louis.
Yeah.
Go spend $1 and get yourself some red antlers. That's what Kyle Davis says.
What I need to do is go get a haircut. I've been trying to get time to do that in 2 weeks.
A haircut, huh? Oh yeah, I can. All that hair that you got going there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah. You just gotta take their razor, dude. The German Baptists make meth. Seems ungodly. Definitely ungodly, unearthly, ungodly. Well, some of these people are unearthly. Louis.
Yes.
What, in your opinion, makes Ellie believe so strongly that the murder was recorded in some way?
That could be some of the evidence that they have that they don't want to release. There could be the connection why they think there's another person.
1 sec.
Yeah.
I just gotta go get a drink. Bear back.
Sure. Do what you gotta do. So, I mean, I if we find out what the connecting charge is to the fact that they're charging with the addition of murder, that'll tell quite a bit, because if they did find something online, that'll be part of those charges. But as of right now, that's all speculation. Hopefully they release something Monday or Tuesday. With Thursday being a holiday, that might have delayed things a bit too, so who knows. Let's see here. I know there were some earlier questions. I want to see if I can find them. Yeah, Alexa, I sort of agree. I mean, I think a lot of what appears to be mental illness is him actually strategically doing what he wants to do. He controls the narrative a lot better than people think he does. And a lot of the stuff that comes off making him seem like he's unstable, I think, is mostly an act. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have a mental condition causing that. I mean, I think he's a sociopath. I think he went through some things earlier in life. I mean, he's connected to Keegan Kline in his younger years between his dad and the neighbor. And he had a very similar childhood, or even worse than what you would describe as what Tony Kline was like. I think JP's dad was a lot more violent than Tony Kline was to his kids, and put him and the different women he was with through a lot of upset. And that's why I think he had a rough time in school. And JP did join one of those mentoring Scared Straight type programs, and he went in the newspaper and said about how well it helped him. And then he went to the military. He got out of the military and became a correctional officer. I mean, the guy was pretty intelligent, opened his own business, was working a full-time job while running his own business, and then all of a sudden his life changed right after these murders. So it's kind of coincidental. It makes you wonder if he was involved and that broke him. But you can't say for sure. Let's see if I can come up with anything out here while she's gone. All right, that was the one about the recordings. Let's see. Nicole's product review. I'm not in law enforcement. I never was. I was in law school for a while, worked in the DA's office for a while, and then decided it wasn't for me. I decided I didn't want to go into law any further, and then went into management. So I've got a long career doing things related to the auto field, sales and parts and service. Uh-oh, I hear some noise. Was that you opening your drink?
Tell me. Oh, tell me, though. Oh, the green one's kind of blend in with the background, though.
Alexa's saying sorry, but I don't know why.
What?
I said, Alexa said, Lewis, sorry, but I don't know why. I don't know why she was saying she was sorry.
Alexa, why are you sorry?
I think it's because she didn't come on the show tonight. She's apologizing for not showing up.
No,
I think she's doing a better job in chat, though, helping us because
she wasn't invited on the live, and she knows it.
I don't think that really happened. I'm teasing.
Yeah. Mind you, she was looking yesterday Friday. Yeah, yesterday when I canceled. Well, see, the thing was is that I said I wasn't feeling well because I was really stuffy yesterday, and I just really felt ugh. So I just kind of was like, yeah, I'm not doing a live tonight. And so I said, Adam, hey, if you and Lewis want to go on it, and then Adam woke up from a nap and said, yeah, I don't, how about tomorrow night? He said, I think, which is tonight, actually. Oops, my bad. And then think about it. And then anyways, and so, I think everyone was just tired and exhausted, and I just wasn't feeling that great. And, so yeah, I was just like, me, I just do things as I do things. And so Alexa was like, darn it, I was looking forward to getting away from the kids for a couple hours. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Sucks to be you. Oh, she misspelled your name. Oh, that's why I said sorry. I asked a question, scrolled up. I see. That definitely I think Mel would agree if I think that deserves a paddle on the butt. Nicole. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Thank you, Lewis. You were really good at what you do. Mm-hmm. And that's why we're going to create the channel. Just ask us.
I want to thank Kyle for joining in chat today. I talk with him every now and then, and he's a local that feels strongly about getting justice done. So I do appreciate that there's locals that jump on here and actually take the time to talk with us. So Kyle, once again, thank you for coming on tonight. And I cannot find Alexa's question. I scrolled up, but I can't find it. Can you list it again, Alexa?
No, that's not it. What about this one? This is a little elf hat. Oh my God, my ears are way up there. I look like I'm a freaking, what the heck? What the heck is that look?
That hat's interesting looking.
Look like I got Dumbo ears. Freaking about to fly away. All right. Not the most attractive little suckers. I'm gonna have to clip. I'm even have to clip them or something. That one's just embarrassing. Okay, hold on. Let's find Alexa's question.
I think Nicole has a question.
Can you remind us? Alexa said, "Can you remind us connection between Klein and JP?" Oh my God, learn to spell Klein as well, Alexa. Kline. It's not like It's not like Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein, I think, is spelled that way.
The Klein's neighbor, whose last name happens to be Schatz, and their family, when JP was younger, his dad was dating the neighbor. So the fact that when he was a kid, he was over there all the time, he got to know them. The other connection is when he got back from the military and he got done with working in corrections, he went to work at Subaru, but JP also started his own internet type repair business for computers and IT right in Peru, right down the road from where the Kleins lived. And at that point, they've already established a connection. They knew each other when they were kids. And it's been said that that's where they took their computer to be serviced. And that's why I always wondered when they did the interview of Klein, the police were describing the stuff that they took from the house. And one of the things that stood out was they said plugged into your desktop was a little dongle. They described it. They didn't call it a dongle, but it is a dongle. It looks like a memory stick, but wasn't a memory stick. And they didn't know really what that was. And I've always wondered if that was something that was put in the computer so they could mimic their IP address and use their internet from outside the house. So I always wonder if that was a Wi-Fi dongle, and because of the connection and that, and him inserting himself into the investigation so heavily like he's done many times, that, you know, maybe there was a connection there. Maybe the connection was, I'm going to set up the clients. But
I do that. Sometimes I pull up the covers on my head, Alexa, and I'm like under the covers, and it's so hard spinning underneath. It's just like, in the stand, it's like a little tent on there. Okay. Remember Garrett said that Ashley is one who said that there was a video and the Edwards guy that she lived, booked it to call. Well, he actually lives in Indiana, back in Indiana, to be honest with you. But Cracked, Garrett was the one that talked about a videotape. I want to go back to that again. There's cameras at the crime scene. There's a camera on the BG and a bunch of weird stuff as well. The police were looking for a video. Whoever purchased whatever video recorder. What was it? A video recorder camera? Whatever it was. Both. Like a GoPro type of thing or whatever. Doesn't even, maybe GoPro, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Can't quite make out the year and model on that, to be honest with you. But anyways, yeah, like there's everything to suggest, regardless of what the LE, if you took away even what the LE said, there's everything to suggest that these murders were recorded. Very minimal pictures, but there's definitely cameras at the crime scene. So yeah, it's, oh, I wish the story would just be told right now. I'm tired of waiting. Yeah. She asked the connection of K and JP. Is that who you referred to? Did you refer to Kagan Klein and Julian Powell?
what was that? I didn't hear you.
Andrea said she asked the connection K. Oh, okay. I see, Andrea. So you just explained about KK and JP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they had connections from when they were kids, and then they had connections from when he was back and opened his business up right down the road from their house.
See, Alexa? Keep it up. You're going to get a triple whooping on the butt. Alexa likes it. There's no denying it. It's like a tease to her. But remember, it's not even just a paddle, right? Now it's like more like an oar. Remember the oar that I sent you? Yeah, it's like a double paddle. All right. Sonny is not interested in the little dongle. He insert herself into the investigation. Lisa, so funny. Lewis, can you explain the party in the woods, or did I hear wrong?
That's when we were talking earlier about Kurtz, and him and his friends used to have parties in the woods, and Libby's cousin attended those parties also, and it just so happened to be some of the people that attended were friends with Libby. So I've always wondered if she was ever brought to those parties at the same time Kurtz was there. You know.
Alexa, dear no angel. That's an angel in disguise. She might enjoy that. Yep. Let's see here.
And just to say that the party in the wood type thing, that's not just hearsay. If you go on to his Facebook page, you can go through his friends list and you can find pictures where they've put up pictures together and you know, arm in arm and hanging out in the woods and drinking beer and saying it's the best times they've had together. So yeah, those things really happen.
Yeah. Lewis, Bianca's saying, wait, that's it. It was drug related because the bad groups around the area were all cooking meth, trying to NRA had a direct line to the pharmacy, but he didn't start the pharmacy till after the murders, right?
Right. You know, let's talk about that, because I see that in a lot of groups and people are stuck on the fact that he had a lab tech's license. He was a management position at CVS. CVS required all managers to wind up having their license to help in the pharmacy, because in order to go back to the pharmacy to ring people out if they went behind the counter, they had to have that license also. So I was told that depending on the store, they would require their different managers, if they worked different shifts that alternated with the pharmacy, to get certified. I don't think it was a requirement for all managers, but depending on the store and the amount of people working, they had to have that certification in order to use the register in the pharmacy. Most of the time, a store manager that has that license to work in the pharmacy doesn't do anything that a pharmacy tech actually does. They just ring people out for stuff over the counter, or they ring them out for the prescription, and then the pharmacist talks to the person before they leave. But he was not working in the pharmacy at the time of the murders. This is something that CVS made him do after 2017. So before that, he was a store-type manager. I don't know if he was a shift manager or if he actually ran the store or what he did, but he had a management position at CVS after he left Walmart. So hopefully that clears that up a little bit.
No, Andrea. Okay, if BP changed what she was saying, Becky Patty then. So Becky Patty changed what she was saying because she said Ellie really told them not to talk about certain things. I wonder if that's why we never heard RA. They told witnesses not to talk.
I'm not sure exactly what they're asking.
Yeah. Lisa?
Well, you can figure that out. Andrea was asked this before, too.
I think I get what she's saying. Go ahead.
Andrea asked earlier, too, about Toby, which is Ashley Garth's dad.
Yeah.
I've never confirmed it, but I was told that he actually was the manager at the place where the drugs they used to make meth were stolen when Derek got arrested.
Yeah.
But I've never confirmed any of those rumors, so I don't know if that triangular connection exists or not.
Yeah. Don't forget, guys, if you want to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 go check out the merch site, all that stuff. You want to, get something from the merch site. Christmas is coming up soon, so it takes about a week before you get it, just so you know. Oh, Kelly ordered one of the Abby and Libby blankets.
Can you make sense out of Lisa's question? Because I wasn't reading it to where I understood it.
Oh, Lisa's question, I think, meant, let me decipher it for you, Lisa. I think she's talking about if it was kind of like if the witnesses had been talking about that they had seen RA at the trails. So maybe that Becky Patty would have known of that name being brought up, perhaps. I think that's kind of what she's trying to say there. Because she said Ellie really told them not to talk about certain things. So she was probably asked perhaps not to talk about that. But I don't know, because I don't know. Like, they were probably asked to, not to talk really to anybody.
It's like a teeter-totter. They really shouldn't have shared much information with the families. But then it comes down to if they found somebody did they have to ask them, did you guys know this person? Would there be a reason why he would know the girls? So it can go either way. I'm sure that if he was brought up, he was probably mentioned to them. And if police didn't follow up with it, they would have no reason to follow up with it. But it just, they might not have even known him by name. So if the name was mentioned and they showed him a picture, they might have said, we have no idea. And then there's so many people that were brought up after that. Why would they even consider it?
Yeah, Carol. Yeah. Lisa, use different words. Ask again. Make it so that we can understand.
Can you throw Nicole's question up when you get a chance?
Yeah, it was just about. Wait, hold on. Where's Nicole's question? Where's
Nicole? Right above your comment. Right above the Streamlabs comment.
Here. This one? Yeah, this is one I had up. Yeah, that's right. Have you ever seen a case like this one before, Lewis? Why do you believe the case has been so hard to solve? I'll tell you, it's been so hard to solve because I was not involved with it. should I have had those files? I'm just saying, should I have had those files and all that stuff? I would have been, there you go, right? Just saying, not to be braggadocious.
I think all this time they've never had anything to connect the actual person that committed the crime to the bodies or the crime scene. And that's why I think that it's being charged the way it is now, because they finally connected somebody to a different crime that put him there. And that's why I'm so curious as to what's going to come out, because technically, if that's what happened here, that might be the only way to get a murder charge to stick on him.
It wouldn't have been so hard to solve if they had it right the first time. Like if it was right underneath their noses, like right there, like almost handing candy to a baby.
I'm going to step back, and I want to give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe all this time, for 5.5 years, they were trying to convict somebody of murder and couldn't. And then somebody had the bright idea to say, why don't we try to convict the person that we can put there of a different crime? And maybe that's where this came from.
Yeah,
they finally took the tunnel vision off of murder and put it on the bigger picture.
Now you're just talking alien to me on that one.
So I'm almost wondering if that was the change in direction that they took to finally get to where they are now.
Let's see. Well, Ray Jones, what do you have to say that's important? Are peanuts grown in Indiana? There's some farmers spray on peanuts these cooks here use. Oh. Yeah, gag order. Yeah. Sometimes I probably need one of those. Anyways, so something about peanut spray.
There's peanuts?
He says, are peanuts grown in Indiana? There is something farmers spray on peanuts. These cooks use. I feel like, does that have anything to do with Delphi? Is that just a personal question? A wooden spoon. Oh, yeah.
He might be confusing peanuts with soybeans. And the chemicals that they use there might be what they spray on the soybean crops.
Or he just might be confused.
or is he referring to the cartoon characters Peanuts?
There was Snoopy, you guys, that was on the bridge. And it was his shack, by the way. Yeah. AKA Doghouse.
His doghouse, right?
Does anyone know if Ari has hobbies, hunting, taxidermy, cars, guns, knives? I think
one thing we've seen him do is hiking, and that was after the crime. Yeah. So I don't know if this guy actually had any real hobbies other than playing pool. We know that he played pool quite a bit, and he didn't like to lose.
Yeah, he was a pool player. Most people are hunters, to be honest, so it wouldn't shock me if he was. His hobby was obviously dirty deeds, taxidermy. Well, yeah, I mean, somebody, I understand why someone's asking that, but let's see here. It has been said that those girls were dressed like deer, that they were sliced and diced like a deer. As far as I'm concerned, if that did happen, hopefully it would have been after the murders already. And if that turns out to be true, then definitely he would, would have been a hunter. I think you know what? I'm just going by instinct here, but I'm thinking he would have been a hunter, like most freaking small town people that live out there in those small towns, like in Canada here, fishing, hunting, all that stuff, hiking, because there's nothing else really to do in small towns too much. So you make it, so you do those typical things. It's kind of like just in those smaller towns because there's not a ton to do.
And Kyle just backed us up in chat with the soybean crops and the corn and what they spray on them, and it is the same chemical that make meth.
I think Kyle should come up here on the live. Hide behind an avatar if you like, and then you can have your say. Do you want to have your say one night, Kyle? But you have to do it before the case is solved, dude. All right. But Kyle, if that option's there, if you do want to, you you can go behind an avatar. You can call yourself, you know, I don't know. I'll just think of a name, like Dick Tracy or something.
John Q. Public.
You know, John. Yeah.
JQP.
Yeah. QT pie. Let's see here. And I can never say that word. Anhydrous. Who's your daddy? Who's your aluminium? I'll forget that one. I'm trying to. Who's your daddy? Who's your mommy? Who's your mommy, Alexis? Who's your mommy? That makes sense. Thank you so much, Lewis and Sunny. I really appreciate you guys. Justice, thanks so much, Nicole. Thanks for the kind words. Absolutely. Bianca, have a good night. Lisa, did you hear the? Lisa, I think I understand this question. Do you hear the information about daughter uploading a 23andMe?
That I've not heard.
Nope, Lisa. No. Where'd you get that from? Was it off Reddit? I'm not sure. I guess Ari was supplying the Sudafed. My kids are too loud in the back. No, I didn't ask for excuses, dude. I have 2 and 3-year-old boys. It gets wild here sometimes. You know, it's okay to lock them in a dungeon sometimes. Just ask Curtis Fouts. You know, you can just ask Curtis Fouts to babysit for you.
He probably knows.
He likes dungeons. All right, let's see. I wonder if RA belongs to Libby's church. Oh, hey, Lewis, did you want me to show that thing that you sent me earlier?
Which one?
About the 75-year-old guy?
I'm sorry to hear you.
The message you sent me with the 75-year-old guy say that he would have conversations with RA?
Yeah, if you want to throw that up.
No, I was lying.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, let me pull that up. If I was Lewis's friend, where would I be? Let's see. Oh, there he is. Okay. Let's let me find that. Okay. And download. You guys get all these little special treats. You're welcome. Like, look at this snowman now. I just change it up, you guys. 1 minute I'm this, 1 minute I'm that. I don't know who I am.
That thing I sent you is floating around in a few different places online, so I can't take credit for it. I just found it. I shared it with you, but
I thought you said you typed this up yourself.
Right.
Okay, let's share it. Okay, can you guys read that? Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I tried to make it enough to where you could put it up as a picture and have it show.
And testing the fertility treatment. Okay, 1 second. So Lisa just said, I heard the daughter had some advanced testing relating to fertility treatment and DNA was uploaded at this time. Yeah, I know nothing about it myself personally. So, okay, so go ahead, Lewis.
Sure. Okay, this in quotes. He is referring to Richard, and I believe he was one of the bar owners where they played pool. He would come in, and we would always talk about the girls and everything. His last name was Matlock. He's 75 years old, and he told the Daily Beast on Monday, we would carry on conversations about it. He would say, you know, it's such a tragedy, and we'd say we felt sorry for the families and all that, but we tried not to talk about it too much because we all knew the families and we were friends with the families. So this was his statement, which people are saying confirms the fact that the families that attended the bar knew who he was. Doesn't mean that they were friends, but they were aware of who each other were, and they might not know him by name, but he probably knew who they were.
Oh, one second here.
Yeah.
Alexa, on a side note, hold on. I feel like Harlequin romance just entered the house. Kagan, are you here? Alexa, on a side note, I think your name is beautiful. And I'm trying to convince the wife if we have a girl to name her Alexa. That's such a tender moment. Thank you for sharing that, Kyle Davis. It's so tender. Go ahead. Okay, go on. Go on about that.
So no, anyway, that was a unconfirmed comment from the owner of the bar where they played pool. So, like I said, it doesn't confirm that the families knew who Richard was, but it confirms that Richard knew who they were. And since we've got pictures showing different family members at that same location, and this is the owner of the bar that owned it for so many years, he knew everybody by name. So that says that if Richard was responsible, he knew the family members, and he went in there and still continued to have a relationship with the bar. So that's kind of an interesting aspect if he is guilty. Person that could go in there straight-faced every weekend or every week whenever they went in and be around family members, that takes a different individual.
Oh, all right then. Yeah, ask him to confirm that. That would be great, Kyle. Because we always like to try to be as factual as we can with stuff. So if you can put a confirmation to that, that would be great.
That would be great. If you could do that, we would definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Lewis?
Yeah.
Why do these people lie so much? Why, Lewis? Why?
What happened?
I feel like that's a question we just can't answer.
What's the question? I'm curious.
He said, I'll ask him tomorrow. Okay, but it came, remember, if you're going to say it, you got to mean it.
Oh, if Kyle says it, he means it.
Okay, Kyle. There we go. So I was going to say, Steffa said, Lisa, I'm a nurse. I know my medications. I think she ended her sentence a little bit abruptly there because it said, I know my medications and I take them. She forgot to put that in. It was funny. Shut up. Lewis is still trying to look at questions.
Trying to find what you're reading.
Oh no, that's okay. It's already up on the thing. It's old. It's old news now. It was like 5 minutes ago. Let's see. Kyle Davis, my pediatrician used to tell us to give the twins 10 mils of Benadryl, right, on our long haul. Can you believe it wouldn't work? They would fall asleep 1.5 hours. Sucks. Yeah. Right. Kyle, call Bob. Kyle, call Bob right now. Do you have him on speed dial? Well, Alexa, in all fairness, over there in Indiana,
it is 1 in the morning.
It is 1 in the morning. I don't think Bob would appreciate that. Yeah.
Alexa's at the same time as they do in Delphi. She's on their clock.
Yeah. I know. That was so funny the other day. Well, I don't want to miss it. Don't worry. You're in the same time zone. Remember that? That was so funny. I was like, it's the same time zone. Come on, everyone. Come on, everyone. Hit that like button. Right, Lewis?
Yes.
He's taking the time out to answer a lot of questions. I'm just sitting here playing with my Christmas stuff. I'm just here for the ride. So hit that like button for us, you guys. That would be great. And if you don't do it now,
people in chat, and there's only 16 likes, and one of those likes is mine. So we need more than 100 likes. Come on, everybody! Thumbs up.
How many likes are we at? We're at 81 now. Somebody just hit a like.
Okay.
Well, again, I just feel it's only fair if you come in and you're, listening to all this, and it's like free, no charge.
Well, actually, tonight likes means something different. You're testing out something new. You want to try to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Then that tells you we should do another channel. So we just need people to show that they want to have more live question and answer sessions.
Yeah. Are you guys hit 1 or 2? Because if you hit 1, that means that when it's time and I bring up the other channel, Just Ask Lewis and Sonny, that means that you guys got to come subscribe. And I want to see who the first subscriber is. It will be me. Yeah. Are you guys interested in something like that? Hit 1 for yes, 2 for no. You can be honest. I don't care. We just want truth apples. We might not want to see it, but no, just kidding. I just think it would be a nice, warm place to come to talk about whatever. It doesn't matter. Just talk. It's not going to be about Delphi, though. Okay, let's make sure about that.
Anything anyone wants to talk about.
Yeah,
it'd be just a simple, roundtable discussion of anything, topic of the day, anything on your mind, anything you want to get off your chest.
Yeah.
Or anything that you've got an odd question about that nobody can answer.
I'd like to get these off my chest, but that's not happening anytime soon. But I mean, if you want to know how to make booger recipe or something like that, come, talk about it. I'll probably give you a recipe for that too. No,
recipes actually are a good topic. Anyone that wants to know how to make a certain dish.
Yeah.
And specialize in gluten-free recipes.
Nicole, Adam's probably secretly watching perhaps right now. No, he probably would have talked. Adam's probably sleeping. And no, so the thing is that Sonny was going to make a Dear Sonny channel, because I loved reading Dear Abby, and I always thought when I grew up I would love to answer people's questions, especially when it came to relationships and different things like that. I am really wise when it comes to those. Okay, all right. Anyways,
where I get it from is, and this is odd because when I was young, like very young,
cut me off just like that. He cut me off. Go ahead.
I used to read all those question and answer things in the back of the Reader's Digest books. Mm-hmm. So while everyone else was reading comic books, I read those too, but I was reading Reader's Digest.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a well-balanced, oiled machine over there. I'm just well-balanced.
I just odd stuff.
Yeah. One of the best things to get someone for Christmas, besides something from our merch line, just kidding, is those bathroom readers. Those bathroom readers are full of knowledge, people.
I didn't think about that. In Canada, do you know what the Reader's Digest is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do? Okay. I didn't. I always forget that you're not in the United States.
Yeah, we read it and digest it. That's exactly what we do. That's what we have for dinner. We don't eat seals. We eat Reader's Digest. There you go. But no, we have Reader's Digest here.
Okay.
Yeah, I've looked at a book, and I've probably opened one up maybe once or twice back in the day. But anyways, yes. So let's go back to Adam. So I didn't know I was doing the live. So, Sandra wanted to ask me some questions, and I didn't really have time to talk to her on a messenger because I had just gotten home, and I thought, should I do a live? Should I not? And then once she said, "Hey, I got a bunch of questions for you," I was like, "Lewis, want to do a live? Just ask Lewis questions." And Lewis is like, "Sure," and I'm like, "Perfect, kill 2 birds with 1 stone." On that one. And then so it was just, so as for the channel, again, it's one of those things is that it was something that I was thinking about doing, and then someone had mentioned about just ask Lewis, like Lewis should have kind of like questions and answers. And I said to Lewis, "Hey, do you want to start a channel with me, and we'll call it just ask us, Lewis and Sonny type of thing?" And he's like, "Sure." And I was like, "Okay." So that's where that's coming from. So it's no offense to Adam or anybody else, but this was something that I specifically was doing. And then I know Lewis is very knowledgeable, and if Adam wants to be a guest on that one, or if any of you guys, or like Alexa and whatever, support with Steph and stuff like that, we'll do that. But we're not going to do any lives till we get to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, because the whole point of it is, to ask questions, and of course, always transparency. 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours allows you to monetize. The whole point of YouTube is that you get paid for ad revenue. So less the fact that people put in donations, that, that's irregardless of that. But why would you not monetize? Because they're going to throw ads on your videos anyway. So why wouldn't anyone monetize to get the ad revenue that YouTube is willing to pay you at the end of the day for that? But we want to make sure that people are interested in it, and that would be our goal, is to get to the 1,000 subscribers. We help lots of other people get to the 1,000 subscribers for that specific reason, so that they can go, hey, you know what, let's monetize, so that their work, because it is work, it's coming out of your time that you're doing things, so it is work. So why not let YouTube pay for advertisements, because they are going to stick it on the videos anyway. So yeah. But thank you guys for your feedback.
Well, that 90% of the videos that they watch on YouTube are monetized. They just don't realize it. You're just being honest and telling what our goal is to get to that level, because we can't go live until you get that many subscribers.
Correct.
Yeah. The videos that you're watching, every time you watch those videos and there's an ad or a spot, or it says, you get the 5-second countdown before the ad ends, that person that's making those videos has some sort of compensation for what they're doing.
Yeah. Like, you can go live. It used to be you could, like, you can still go live. But like I said, I mean, there's a purpose of it. And that's to reach that goal. I don't care. I got nothing to hide when it comes to anything, right? Like,
you have to understand that when you say monetize, the amount of money is pennies. It's cents per person per ad. It's not like you make a lot of money for doing the video, but it does.
Do a big channel.
In order to have like Streamlabs and stuff, there's monthly fees for things.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. I was just going through it the other day.
Most of the money that you're going to make once a channel gets going is to cover the cost of running the channel. It's not really profit that somebody's making. Then you get to a different level. So
you get to a different level, right? And 1,000 subscribers isn't getting you to any level.
In order to do something people like, if they like it, we need to cover the cost of what it takes to put it out. And that would be something that would be nice to get to in the beginning.
Alexa, you didn't get your own channel with any. Well, you know what? Hey, again, Alexa, this was something that Sunny was going to do. And, in my head too, I'm like going, oh yeah, people, want to ask Alexa things. But the thing is, remember guys, Alexa, different story, but this, like, for Delphi stuff, the other channel will not be about Delphi stuff. So meaning if Alexa's on, it's not going to be to talk about, well, I mean, you could ask forensic questions and stuff like that, but we're not going to be talking about Delphi stuff. That's for this channel. Lindsay, Alexa knows exactly. She's not that charming. She hasn't quite warmed up to me yet. She just added Messenger. I'm starting to like her a little bit more. She just finally added Messenger. It took her, but she did it for me. So, I mean, I guess I should be in love with her at this point, but I got to play hard to get a little bit with Alexa. She just can't have all of me, like all this Canadian all at once. No, I mean, she has her husband, but no. Did you know Freedom Digest pays $50 if they print your joke? Oh, that's no yoke. That's no yoke. Okay. If there's any more, can I ask Sunny at Lewis, how do I make my eyeliner last longer? Okay. So go ahead. What was your answer to that?
Heat.
Heat.
Yes.
How will heat? Okay, tell me, makeup artist.
You want to heat it before you apply it so that it gets harder when it dries.
Look at you, and I worked in cosmetics, and I didn't hear that ever.
It also lets you thin it out more so it coats instead of getting caked up.
Well, Alexa, you heard it right here.
I could be 100% wrong. I'm just going off what I think works.
Did you just make that up? Did you legitimately just make that up?
From the little I know, yeah, but it sounds good.
Yeah. My answer to you would be Google that. Just Google that. Because I know.
Let's ask chat. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, did you try it out ever?
Let's ask chat. We'll find out.
Well, does it harden up, Alexa? How have you tried this?
Heat helps it. Let's go 1. And if everyone has experienced says heat does not help it, let's go 2.
I was going to ask a contrary question. Yeah, maybe I should spoof up on my cosmetics. I worked in cosmetics for like 7 years. But there's some tips and tricks out there nowadays that people do. You know, like eyeliner. Because if you have oily skin, eyeliner is just going to smudge unless you basically freaking powder yourself up there, you know, to take away some of the oils on there. Because eyeliner doesn't last with me because I have oily skin. And so that's why I even stopped wearing the crap, just for that reason, because it was like you put it on, looks good. And then at some point, the eyeliner would always end up down here like I had 2 black eyes, you know. And so I was just like, yeah, you guys should totally monetize the channel and get paid doing lives, researching, dedicating time, mainly worked. Yeah. Whoops. And get paid for your work. Well, that's right. If YouTube's going to, you know, pay for ads, anyone that has a channel and they have 1,000 subscribers and they make videos, you would be a fool if you didn't take what free money is being offered to you. And I say free money, but you're working for it, you know. Let's see here. So do we have any last minute questions? Let's see. Yeah, does anybody have any last minute questions? Did you guys figure out the answer to the Cadbury secret of the eyeliner? I'm just going to be like, Google. Just type in Google. Here, let me just get back to you. Let me go type in Google with the answers to that.
You know, my idea here comes from when I was in high school, everybody wore a heavy eyeliner. Girls did. And they always used heat before they applied it. And they always said it kept it on longer. So that's where I'm coming off. So my info could be 20 years out of date.
Yeah, it could be out of date. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine getting that. Well, I mean, there's some really good men makeup artists out there. Is Lewis going to dress like a potato? I'll answer that for you, Lisa. No.
What if I do?
Well, because you already look like a potato, so why do you have to dress like one?
You might be dressed like one now.
Yeah. Oh, hey, did you make it all the way to the dollar store too? You know that $1.25 store, the Dollar Tree? So I go in there today.
Still have issues with that name.
Hold on. Yeah, I get it. Me too. I've always had issues, but I go in there today and everything's $1.50 now. $1.50. Not the $1.25 that it always was because of inflation.
Oh, wait, now I feel better because your Dollar Tree was always $1.25.
Yeah.
Ours was always $1, and they just went to $1.25 a few months ago, and that's why I was there so much. But if you're to $1.50, I feel better.
Do you feel better? Because it went up the same amount. It was $1 and we were $1.25, and it went to $1.25 and we're $1.50. It's still 25 cents increase.
That helps. I feel better.
Why? But it's the same.
Because if you were paying the same as we were, that means you were getting a better deal before.
Yeah, but I thought
they could lower the price before from $1 down to like 80 cents.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just confirm what you said. Did you not say that your Dollar Tree you were paying $1.25?
No, our Dollar Tree was always $1.
Okay, sorry, $1.
Yeah,
and then it went up to $1.25.
Yes,
Right. So I see what you're saying. So during that little time in a few months when they've increased ours to $1.50, that's what's making you feel better?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. Let's see. I don't do eyeliner anymore. See, exactly. Bianca, I thought you said you were going night night. I feel like I thought you were going night night. What if RA was at the trails that day? The drop off pills to the cooks. Can you just picture this freaking pot stirring thing going on, making the meth, and just got caught up in the murders? And that one seems a little far fetched to me, but just got caught up in the murders, and that was the other crime for the felony murder. Yeah, I mean, that seems a little bit too far fetched for me personally. That would have happened. He just got caught up in the murders. Yeah, I mean, it's a thought. I just think it's a little bit too out there.
I don't remember, but by 2017, didn't they already take the different things out of the cold medicine where it didn't work like it did? And stuff was locked up?
Yeah, I think so. They started locking things up back in.
And it was all phased out. And if you bought more than 2 boxes, they had to record the name and the license and all that. So
yeah, I know, right? I remember when they started locking the stuff up.
I think by 17, most of like NyQuil was no longer NyQuil. It was NyQuil, but it didn't have the certain things that were in it before that they used to use for making what they call that lean, I think, was the drink that they'd use to get drunk off of.
Oh, well, I don't know, actually. Yeah, I'm over the inflation. Yeah, me too. I'm over the inflation BS too. Hey, did you get caught up in a murder? Yeah. Right. Or how did you get caught up in a murder? How do you get caught up in a murder, I should say. I thought she was like, hey, did you just get caught up in a murder? Hey, Richard Allen, you get caught up in that? Not laughing at you, whoever it was, who was it, Bianca. That was just it just seems so highly unlikely that somebody's bringing pills and then they just get caught up in the murder. You know, unlucky SOB if it was true. He wasn't keeping the records at CVS. Well, we all know that we all know from the news how many pharmacists get exploited for uh, you know being addicts or selling pills and stuff like that. So it's not like one of those things where they can keep this tight track, because when there's a will, there's a way. And that's why we see a lot of freaking church pastors that are pedos or little molesters and stuff like that. Wherever there's a will, there's a way. Sees through. It was my favorite part was going to the prisons to talk to the inmates for research. I got to talk to all kinds of criminals except child molesters. I refuse to speak to those. Absolutely. I know. It's just, you know what? You can be a lot of things in life, but a child molester it's just sick and twisted, Yeah.
And to go back to the pharmacy thing, if anyone was doing anything to make money out of a pharmacy, it would be forging scripts for other types of pills to sell. It would be taking cold medicine to make meth.
For me, it's 10:15. Carol, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Alexa, oh my God, you did that too. John Douglas is a bit of a hero of mine. He did that too. I don't even know who that is. John Douglas. Who's that? Is that a criminal guy or something? When I was younger, he did work for eyeliner. The newer stuff isn't good for liquid liner. It's better. I suggest anyone that ever has problems with like eyeliner, if you're not using the liquid, probably best to use liquid. That stuff stayed better on the pencil stuff. How do you get caught up and ask me at the wrong place? Wait. How do you get caught up? You ask being at the wrong place. You ask being at the wrong place. Yeah, but But that's kind of like, that's like grasping for straws to me. That kind of thought, like for me personally, that's like something that's so, like, what's the chances that, oh, just gonna go get my pills and bring some for some meth, and then oops, a couple murders happening here. That's what I mean. Like, that's how it plays out in my head. Is all of a sudden. So I just think of that one is like,
Yeah, I think that the chance of this being a chance encounter.
what's the way of saying that? Because I'm not trying to come off sounding condescending here at all. I'm just trying to make it like, in my head, I'm just like, that's so this much on my scale of that happening.
The likelihood of it being a crime of opportunity, if you listen to what law enforcement said from the beginning and the DAs and all that, that rules that out quite heavily. And now that they say that there's possibly more involved, I think that should squash the whole idea of opportunity, opportunistic and not a planned thing. I mean, there's always a chance it isn't, but I'd say the likelihood is at the lower single-digit percentage.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not good at my punctuation either, Grandma. Deborah, she says, Sunny, with me battling cancer, I've lost my hair, which is growing back gray, but I still don't have any eyebrows or eyelashes, or very few. I tried one shot. I know. My sister-in-law has alopecia. And if anyone doesn't know what alopecia is, it's where you lose all your hair. And so she always has to pencil in, wear wigs, and pencil in her eyebrows and stuff like that. I mean, she actually does a really good job of it, to be honest. My sister-in-law actually has been in the cosmetic field for a long time. She's a big representative, and she could have probably answered that question about the eyeliner, and especially since she's like I said, got alopecia. So same idea. But as for you, Deborah Young, prayers to you, of course, and hopefully, I'm not sure, is it in remission? I'm hoping it's in remission. My mom died of cancer. A lot of people die of cancer. So prayers to you, blessings to you, and prayers to better health for you. So sorry that you're having to go through all of it. I'm sure it's been very exhausting, tiring, to say the least. And then to have to lose your hair, and my mom's grew back in gray as well when hers came kind of back in with her cancer treatment. And it ended up looking like a hatchet face. I know. I get it. My sister-in-law she perfected it. It would be funny. My sister-in-law was like this. She would be like, did your sister notice I was wearing a wig or whatever, like that type of thing? Like, so she would want to know, like, did people notice? And then my sister-in-law, we'd go to freaking Cultus Lake, and she would literally run down the wharf. Her wig would go flying off her head. She would grab her wig, literally running down the wharf, and then jump in the water. Nope, nobody noticed that at all. Why would anyone notice someone running in the water, throwing their wig off top of their head? It was like the weirdest thing to watch. But yet, did anyone notice that I was wearing a wig? But she actually got some really good wigs. Her first wigs were, but she does a really good job with her makeup. I mean, you got to after so long, right? I mean, she was 12 years old, I believe, when she found out she had alopecia, or when her hair started disappearing. What else we got? And then we're gonna get going here. Not because I want to. I just can only sit with Lewis for so long, right, Lewis?
Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, I need to take Advil migraine pills. Or not, or maybe I got things to do. No. There's lots I could be doing. There's lots that I don't necessarily do, but there's lots I could be doing. I feel like if anyone should be using that word tentacles, that's a phrase I should be using, because It's like I will literally sit there and work on this. I'll go work on a whatever thumbnail. I'll go work on the merch page. I'll go do whatever. And I just feel like I'm an octopus all over the place all the time. And then I sit there and I take time out, try to go through the messages, on Messenger. Sometimes I'll just look at them quickly and then go back to them later. Sometimes I even forget to go back to them, to be honest with you. And it's just because on the computer, I always have so many tabs open and then, check. And then it's like, oh yeah, you got to check emails, see if there's emails. I forget to do that. Oh, right. I got to go check to see if there's any new members to authorize them. There's just a lot of different things, because it's not just coming on a live and doing a live, right? It's not as simple as that. That's for sure. Plus I have to have my downtime so I can look at the case as well. That's my rest time during the nighttime. Yeah, prayers. But I promise you'll get better. Yes, Alexa went through brain cancer. My eyelashes never grew back, so now I have to buy them. Absolutely. Like Alexa is a blessing that she's alive today. So yeah, prayers to that as well, Alexa. If nobody knew that about Alexa.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah, it's been brought up before. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of times forget about it because Alexa, it's kind of like when I see Alexa, she's just, everything looks fine from the outside. So it's kind of like when she brings it up, then I'm like, oh, right. Because I remember her saying that and then she brought it up on another live not that long ago. And yeah, so it's like, I remember when she was telling me the story and it was just like, just listening to it, like makes you so sad. It's just like, knowing she has twins and she's got, she's dealing with brain cancer and, again, lucky to be here,
yeah.
She went through a lot of people have, but yeah. Good night, all. Good night. Good night. Okay. Wow, Alexa, I've never guessed. Right. Yeah. That's exactly why I forget sometimes because it's like, again, I'm just, seeing Alexa, beautiful Alexa. And then, oh, right. She did have her brain cancer. Right. But it's not one of those right things because like, obviously she spent a lot of time dealing with those, dealing with that, just like I'm sure Deborah Young and everybody else that has, had the longevity of, cancer treatments and how you're feeling and, a place that nobody really ever wants to be. See through. I'm so embarrassed to say I didn't know the book Mindhunter was made into a show. I don't watch too much TV. Yeah, I'd have to own one. Yeah. So you guys, stage 3 breast cancer, had double mastectomy, then beat it, then came back in my bones, and just the past last September. Oh, okay. Are you stage 4? Deborah? Double mastectomy, then beat it. Alexa, I'm pretty sure she said Sunny, not you. You're stage 4, Deborah? My mom was stage 4 when she found out in the stomach and they couldn't remove it. And so stage 4 is just being able to maintain, but you don't have, that long, a few years at best. I pray for a miracle for you if you're stage 4, Deborah. I remember when my mom told me that she was stage 4. She didn't even know. She had a lump in her stomach. And then they told her she didn't have cancer. And they told her she did have cancer. And that she had 5 years to live. She lived about 2.5 years after that. But my mom didn't follow anything specific. She stopped going to treatment. She was taking medicinal, whatever it was, oil or something. Yeah. On there. Anyways, prayers for a miracle for you, Deborah. That's so sad. You know, on the flip side of this, sometimes I'd probably rather be up there than down here. Just saying. Yeah. You know what? I want you to know, Deborah, myself personally, I'm always okay with it when it's my time. It's something that you just can't change, and unless again some sort of miracle happens, but I'm okay, because I know that we'll see our loved ones again. I can talk to them again. I know, like, I'm perfectly fine with it, but it's who we leave behind that hurts the most. And I mean, there's no good feeling about it, to be honest with you. And that's probably why, Lewis, I don't really mourn my mom. Like, I am sad that my mom's passed and stuff, but I will say that I don't mourn. I more celebrate the fact of who my mom was. Because can't change what it is. So I've never been one to be sad, because I think that, you know what I mean? I'd rather think of the good memories all the time.
It looks on what happened. So,
Sunny, you are not great at the feel good talk. Okay. I think I don't actually think I like that answer. That
what's that?
I actually don't think I like Lisa's comment there. You are not great at the feel good talk. I talk from my heart.
I don't think you're taking that right. I think she's saying that you're having a little bit of a struggle coming with the right words.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, but I don't think it was the proper time or place to say that, though. Because it's trying to be sensitive, and because it's not an easy subject to talk about.
No, especially if you've gone through it.
Yeah. I just don't think that was the proper moment to say something like that. That was all. But I love you. I just think that there's certain things that are really hard to talk about. So I struggle with it more so because you're feeling badly. You're feeling so badly inside for what's going on. So as I'm talking, I'm thinking about this poor lady that has this going on, just like Alexa, when she was going through hers and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just so, it's like in your head, you try to search for the right words because it's such a hard topic and sensitive topic. Well, what did you mean? Because I want to love you again. I think I lost 1% love there for a second.
You connect to what's going on because you've gone through it with someone else. So
bottom line is, this world is a circle of life. And no matter what, we can't change the outcome. So we can either accept it and do our best, in a sense, knowing that what the outcome will be. And I just have the part that hurts the most in talking even about it is when you know that the loss is great. Like for my mom, when she found out she had cancer, then what goes through her head is all those things about, well, I'm not going to see my grandchildren no more. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do that. That's what hurts the most. But little do you know, from heaven. You're gonna sit there and drop little frickin' star sprinkle twinkles on them and stuff like that. Just hit me hard, reading that with Deb there, because when she said yeah, like when I said stage 4, I think she said yeah, and instantly I was taken to my mom, and it's just not, it's hard. So prayers for that. Lisa, did you fix what you meant then? Because I was like, when I seen that, I was just like, oh, that's not the moment to say that. During the pandemic, it was so depressing. I prayed to God to show me beautiful things in dreams, nothing specific. I had the most amazing dreams of heaven, They are very natural and gorgeous. It's okay, and it doesn't matter because Lisa loves Adam anyway. And I already thought of that. What was Miracle referring to? I decided to be open about my cancer because if my story, right, absolutely, Alexa, absolutely. That's exactly what it's about. It's like I said, if anyone knew me before, I never talked about my personal stuff. My mom didn't even know I was abused until I told her 11 years later, you know. But that's the whole point is if somebody can listen to a story about addiction, or if they can learn about abuse or jealousy and all those different things, and they learn something from it, so be it. Lisa's mad at me. She's not answering back. I'm not materialistic in most things I want. I'm like, meh, I don't need it, but heaven has everything I ever thought would be nice and beautiful. Yeah, like I said, I'm just when it's my time, it's my time. I hope it's one of those things that when I'm in bed and I just don't wake up or something, that would be the easy way out, wouldn't it? I didn't mean to put a damper on here. I was thinking about how to put. No, you're not the damper. I was being more the damper than you were. I was just you were taking me back to my mom and the loss of my mom, and when you started talking about that it had spread to your bones, and when you started talking about your bones and that, I was like, ooh, has this hit level 4? And then that's what took me back to my mom. And then I started thinking about, level 4 is not, unless, like I said, a miracle happens. Level 4 is stage 4, I should say, is maintaining your life. So it just made me very sad. I got what she meant. Deborah, you didn't bump into Deborah. I hope we can offer a distraction for you. Oh, there's Alexa's great typing again. Deborah Rag. You have seen the eyebrow stickers that look nice. Really, they got eyebrow stickers? They got eyebrow stickers? Hey, Lewis, did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I couldn't even probably tell you what they have in cosmetics and what all the stuff that they do. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah. One of the hardest things to talk about is, those things for sure, like death and, especially and cancer, in certain ways, especially if it's like terminal, or any other sort of disease or whatever, where someone's talking about terminal and stuff like that. You remember there was this girl on X Factor? What was her name? Bird Blue or something like that? Bird Blue. I think it was Bird Blue. There was this beautiful girl that had this beautiful voice. and she'd beat cancer quite a few times, but then she finally ended up passing away. What a beautiful spirit, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's real life. Again, I always will speak from my heart. You referred to loss right away when she needs. You referred to loss right away when she needs uplifting spirits, the feel goods. You can beat this. Um. Uh. Okay. So but that means that you're speaking for her. When someone, so she's saying you referred to loss right away when, yeah. Well, I looked at it and all I saw was the bone marrow and that, thinking it was for. But don't speak for other people. Not when it comes to that, because maybe what I said was just fine to her. Maybe it wasn't to you, but maybe it was to her. But I can see what you're saying. I just speak from my heart.
I guess the way to look at it is you've got people that understand the situation and can relate, so that maybe it can make them not feel like they're alone if they feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, just us talking about it and her being here shows that there's people around her that care about her. Yeah. And so it's like a family is really what it is. Nightbird, that was it.
It takes a lot to share that kind of information, so I give people credit that can actually speak up and talk about it, and that tells you that they're at a stage that they understand it.
The thing is, I just say things from my heart, and I really don't care if somebody else doesn't like it or not. It's not your channel, it's my channel, and it's my words out of my mouth. I have deep sympathy, and there was people given uplifting spirits, and I said prayers and stuff like that right away, so I don't know why that was somehow deemed as that I went to that, but I still don't really care. My thing is this: I will always speak from my heart, and not everything is bubbly and roses. And I'm not going to be one of those people. I was talking about both sides of it, and I say what my heart is saying. And I'm sorry if it's going to offend anybody, but I still won't really care unless it's offending the person that I'm actually talking to. So to me, I just try to keep it real and be myself. And so if that came off as a different way, then I'm sorry, I apologize. But it's like sorry, not sorry. It's because I wouldn't have taken time out if I didn't care to stop and start thinking about that post. But anyway, I think you guys know that. I don't, I'm not the most eloquent speaker here. I'm just organic. I just speak from my heart, what my heart was feeling, and my heart was feeling a lot of sadness. Deborah Young, you can save the link. Look at those eyebrow stickers. And feels things for others. Yeah, thank you, Ozzy. There you go. There's my cheerleader. Yes. You know what? A lot of people don't even understand that I get tons of emails from people that tell me how that even Sloopy last night, was making me tear up. She's like, Sonny, you don't realize, I think, the impact that you have, on me or people and stuff like that and whatever. And the thing is that I don't think about it because I just keep it real and honest and organic. But I don't necessarily know that I've impacted somebody until somebody shares a story that I've impacted them. And so I got quite a few emails from people that come in here and say, that thank us for not always just sticking at Delphi when we talk about other things, and that it's like having a family to come into to talk to. That's always the way I want it to feel. And that's why I will always keep trolls out, because I will never be a person about subscribers over, it will always be about the quality and not the quantity of people. Okay, love. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, either way, I mean, at the end of that, I know I'm abrupt, and Lisa knows we love her over here. I just happened to look down, and it was just a statement that caught me off guard. I was like, well, I mean, I'm doing the best that I can, but I'm just being me. So I got it. Sometimes a remark throws me off, and that one threw me off when I seen it. I was like, why did you put that there right then? It's not making me laugh right now. Even though I think it was meant to come off more of a lighthearted comment. I was in my I'm not in the mood for a crack joke at the second. I'm thinking about, I don't know what I'm thinking about. But anyway, well, point is that I'll always just be me. If I and again, if I say things out of my mouth wrong, I'm not the best wordy person ever. I'm definitely a lot better between typing something up than actually saying things. Well, I don't know. It depends what it's about. Either way, very, very sad. It's hard talking about sadness. I find it hard talking about sadness, because my heart aches. But yet I find it difficult. But yet, by the same token, because you don't want to make them feel sad, but then again, we're not here to be sugarcoaters either, But by the same token, it's that's what I said. Pray for a miracle, but life is the way life is, It's a circle of life. There's some things you can fix, and there's other things that you can't. Regardless, my heart just empathizes with the struggles of what Alexa went through, what other people have gone through. It's hard not to sit here at the moment myself and feel the sadness of somebody, in a sense. I instantly think about the sadness because it's sad. It's not happy. It's sad. On there. Thank you guys. Right, Grandma watches. Mm-hmm. And again, I apologize if I don't always get back to my emails right away. Oh, actually, I owe Yoni. I got it, but I couldn't look at it from my iPad. I have to go to my computer. Yoni, I need to go back to that email. So just if you ever see this, Yoni, I know I need to go look at that email. Agree. I had typed it. I knew what she meant, but you missed. I had typed earlier. I knew what she meant, but you missed it on there. Yeah. Well, again, I'm not going to rehash it. I just saw a comment that simply said, well, I don't even know what it said anymore. It was something. All I know is when I saw it, it just hit me the wrong way. I was just like, Sonny, you're not good at making people feel good type of thing or something like that. And I'm like, no, but thanks for pointing it out, I lost my sister-in-law to the same thing, Deborah. I miss her like crazy, and yet can't wait to see her again. I think the C word has two. Oh, the C word. We don't talk about the C word. C word on there. Anyway, this sounds like it's a Just Ask Lewis and Sunny live right now. Anyways, prayers to you guys, and because there's Steffa has her daughter and issues going on, and the C word, and so many people have things. We all got things. I have things going on. I don't tell you about always those things, but I have my own things going on that I should be taking care of, and I don't so well. I'm not so good at it, I've never usually been one to go on about, even though contrary to what people think, or some people anyway, but those are the ones we don't care about. I don't really talk about my own personal stuff when it comes to, health and not too much, but I've been trying to be as open as I can about everything, but I've always, I don't know, I always cared more about other people's problems than my own, to be honest with you. Maybe that's why I don't really say about them too much and whatever, but I have diabetes going on, and then I get like leg ulcers. I hate the word leg ulcers, but that's what they are. And you know, uh, yeah. So, uh, just different things. Different things. Anyways, I probably should go to the doctor, to be honest. I just kind of avoid, out of sight, out of mind. If I don't do it, then I don't. But anyways, probably should, I suppose. But anyway, you guys, Lewis, let's bring this live to an end. When I looked at the live earlier, we were at 1 hour and 23 minutes, right? And I was like, okay, decent live. Maybe we'll go 2 hours. Legitly, it's 3 hours right now. Mm-hmm. Lewis, are you still awake?
Can you hear me?
No, barely.
See,
That's right. Grandma watches. That's exactly right. I don't want to burden other people with my problems, but sometimes no, you sound like I'm muffled. Lewis, hi. Flash in, flash off. Flash in.
You better?
Barely. But yeah, you know what? We're just going to end the live anyway. So did you want to just give any final thoughts or anything? Or
I don't know if anybody can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, people go through struggles and then you see them online and they tell you about what they're going through.
Yeah.
And I think that helps people that might be going through other struggles to realize that there's other people out there, and that gives them strength. But I think there's always a plus, even if people think it brings you down a little bit, it's not, because what you've gone through might help the next person that's listening or watching.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's nice when people do share, because there's so many other people going through that same stuff. Uh, Absolutely, like with Deb and stuff like that. You're right, Alexa. The 4 hour lives are just for you. But yeah, so that's why I find it very healing for not only myself, because honestly, I am a person that I don't go seek any sort of therapy. I've now, even when I was in depression back during the divorce, I didn't take any pills. I just used my own brain power to pull myself out, which when if I wasn't so stubborn, I probably should have. And it's only because I was taught that you fix yourself, that you don't need medication and this to do that. That's how I was raised. You don't need that, so it's always been more of a, that's just the way it was kind of brought up. You suck it up, buttercup, and you deal with your stuff and you fix it. And yeah, it wasn't like all this pills and doing all these different things. That wasn't really something that really was talked about too much. And if so, most people kind of hid the fact that they took pills. It wasn't a very open thing. Nowadays, things are a lot more open and free talking, in all different ways over the years, and so it's a better world for it. It's a nicer world when people can open up and share things, and know that there's other people out there that are going through struggles. It doesn't matter what those struggles are. Maybe it's financial struggles, or maybe it's relationship struggles. Maybe it's, like I said, medical struggles and all that. Sunday morning. It's Sunday here too. Good for you guys. It's still Saturday here. But anyways, you guys. Oh, sweet Caroline. Boom, boom, boom. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I don't really have a song for you, Ray. Yeah, unless there's a song like that's for Ray. But anyways, other than that, I forgot today's Saturday. I thought it was Sunday. Yeah, no. Tomorrow's Sunday, and it is the 26th for me, so it's the 27th for you guys. Okay. Again, go check out the bio link if you want to check us out on Facebook, Twitter. I usually go to Twitter for the most part, most of it. Just check out the different links in there, the merch sites in there again, like I said, and check that out if you want. And if not, then don't. And you guys have a great night, and thanks for joining us. There's Amore. Oh, okay. No, I mean that's Maria. That's Ave Maria. Sorry, Amore. What's that Amore song again, Lewis? It's Amore when the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie. That's Amore. Isn't it like a big piece of pie? If not, ooh. Hey Alexa. Hey Alexa. Guess whose husband bought cheesecake? Guess who should not have cheesecake? But guess who's going to have cheesecake? Me. Because husband says I turn around and we were at M&M's tonight buying a few groceries things. And all of a sudden I'm like, cheesecake? And he's like, yeah, it's not for you. It's for me and Ryan. And I'm like, you can't have any. And I'm like, oh, I'm having some. I am having some. You know, I haven't had cheesecake in quite a long time. And I am going to have a piece of cheesecake right now. And I don't care if my diabetes level hits 60 or something tonight. Yeah. Yeah, Alexa. Cheesecake. It says on the box, New York style cheesecake. Cheesecake and Captain Morgan's. Oh my God. Ray, you just stole my heart by saying that right now. Thank you. Captain Morgan and cheesecake. That's it. My Alexa just defined the word husband. You got to learn to spell Alexa properly, by the way. You people. You guys, why do you guys all forget the Z in Alexa? It's Alexa. Alexa. Yeah. You gotta get that beautiful Z in there. That makes that name beautiful. Yeah. Anyways. Okay, you guys, we're out of here. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much. And we'll let you know when the channel for Lewis and Sunny is up as well, okay? I'll just have a little piece, I swear, Alexa. Okay, I will just have a little piece. I promise. I know I can't overdo it. But anyways, you guys have a great night. Good night. Love you. Thank you. See you tomorrow. And we'll talk, I guess, Delphi. Yeah. Take care, guys. Bye. Say bye, Lewis.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, barely.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Take care, guys.
Yelling.